The Blue Star is about to enter the era of universal survival. All inhabitants of the Blue Star will be transported to the Mine Dungeon survival world. Countdown begins. 10, 9, 8. What's that noise? Are they filming a new reality show? Hanmu put away his fishing rod, glancing around in confusion, yet unable to locate the source of the sound. Buzz. Hanmu spun around and saw a huge red object speeding straight toward him. What the hell? How could a large truck show up in a place like this? Detected. Host was struck during the transportation process. Unique system binding qualification unlocked. Accept? What is this? Can I decline? All I want is to fish in peace. If declined, your heart will stop beating in 0.001 seconds. Unique system binding successful. Welcome, survivors, to the Mine Dungeon survival world. Hanmu jolted upright, gasping heavily. Shoot. Where are my fish? Huh? Where am I? Coming to his senses, Hanmu realized he was no longer by the familiar riverbank of Blue Star. His lure rod and dozens of jeans of topmouth cullet had all vanished. All that remained was thick fog. Extremely dense fog. In the darkness not far away, atop twisted, ghost-like oars, several unknown upside-down creatures stared coldly down at Hanmu. The cold mechanical voice continued to ring out. All 10 billion people of Blue Star have finished transportation. Infants, as well as the sick and elderly unable to move independently, have been assigned to locations near their relatives wherever possible. Here, everyone starts from scratch. All survivors in the Mine Dungeon world have been placed in random locations. Each spawn point comes with an initial minecart. Under its protection, you can safely survive the first 3 days. Inside the minecart are limited survival supplies, as well as an awakening stone for 1 talent draw to support your early-stage survival. Please memorize the Mine Dungeon survival rules. Rule 1. Every 10 days, the minecart ascends 1 layer. Before your time limit for the current mine layer expires, survivors may freely explore, gather supplies, and evacuate. Rule 2. Aside from survival resources, try your best to collect minecart upgrade materials. Raising your minecart's level is critical to your long-term survival. Rule 3. Once a minecart is completely destroyed, a survivor must either attach themselves to another person's minecart or obtain a new one through other means. Failing to secure a minecart will trap you permanently on your current layer until death. Endless opportunities lie here, alongside extreme danger. Aggressive aberrant creatures roam the mine layers. Do your utmost to stay alive. Attribute panel activated. Focus your mind to summon it. Lastly, good luck to all survivors. What on earth have I been thrown into? Transported to another world? This isn't some novel. How could this really happen? After the initial shock, Hanmu quickly accepted that he truly had been transported to another world. And he was far from the only one. Hanmu took a deep breath and rapidly sorted out his current situation and surroundings. Moments later, his gaze fell on the rusted minecart behind him, its lights flickering dimly. Hanmu stepped forward. The minecart's interior measured roughly 2 by 3 square meters. A simple straw mat lay inside, holding limited supplies. 5 by 500 milliliters mineral water bottles, 5 times 10 G compressed biscuit portions, 1 times pickaxe. Beside the mat sat an old workbench. Resting upon it was a glowing golden stone that stood out sharply in the dim gloom. This must be the stone for unlocking talents. I wonder what rank talent I'll get. The instant he picked up the awakening stone, translucent text appeared before his eyes. Detected equipable item, complete awakening stone. Preview of equipment entry, extra draw gold. Gain 1 talent draw every 10 levels. Permanent condition preview. Possess 3 entries of your own. Equip. I was told we only get 1 talent draw total. Wait, a permanent entry? Is this a cheat skill? Hanmu's breathing quickened. He recalled being hit by the large truck and hearing about a unique system binding itself to him. Hanmu focused his mind. Seconds later, a translucent functional panel unfolded in front of him. 6 function icons were displayed. Personal info announcements chat, trade hub backpack map. Hanmu mentally opened the chat interface. Many people were already flooding the channel with messages. Area Anonymous 1258. What is going on here? I was just relaxing at home. Area Anonymous 3538. I rolled a support type talent. Any strong players willing to take me along? I'll pay 20 gold coins, genuine ones. I'll settle up once we're back on Blue Star. Area Anonymous 1242. Wow, talents have tiers. I got a white gray talent. It's basically useless. Area Anonymous 6537. Hold on. Is this some prank show? Are we still in our home country? Where's the film crew? Where are the cameras? Area Anonymous 8866. Buddy, stop looking. I've pinched myself dozens of times. It really hurts. Spend your time unlocking your talent instead. Area Anonymous 7462. Oh no, this is the real-life Earth survival game. Hanmu let out a helpless sigh. Reality really does imitate fiction. Just like in most Blue Star-written survival novels, the chat channel was filled with mostly meaningless chatter. Scrolling further, he noticed nobody else mentioned this item equipping function. Hanmu felt a flicker of joy. If this equipment slot was exclusive to him, his growth rate would far outpace everyone else's. If my survival odds go up, there might still be a chance to go back to Blue Star and cast my fishing rod again. Hanmu mentally exited the chat and looked back at the awakening stone. The translucent lines of text remained floating in view. Detected equipable item. Complete awakening stone. Equip? Alright. Equip it. Hanmu mentally confirmed. The text in front of him shifted. Equipment successful. Obtained entry, extra draw gold. Entry effect. Gain 1 talent draw every 10 levels. Available draws. 1 permanent condition. Possess 3 entries of your own. Current progress. January 3rd. Note 1. Only intact items may be equipped. Damaged items cannot be equipped. Note 2. Removing equipment immediately deactivates its entry. The equipment slot enters a 60-minute cooldown and cannot accept new items during this period. Note 3. When the permanent condition is met, the item vanishes and the entry takes permanent effect. 1 entry is already this overpowered. Imagine if I permanently unlocked several more. The thought lifted Hanmu's spirits and eased some of his anxiety toward this brutal survival scenario. Now, time to draw my talent. Extra draw gold. 1 talent draw available. Next draw unlocks at level 10. Use 1 draw. That'll give me another entry. Give me something gold tier. Hanmu gave mental confirmation. Prismatic light burst from his body, forming floating mystical cards. Some burned with flame, some coiled with lightning, others exuded frigid cold. I wonder what talent I'll receive. Hanmu felt a mix of anticipation and nervousness. In the next instant, all the cards flipped and slowly came to a halt. 1 pale green card drifted toward him and merged into his body. Information about his newly acquired talent flooded into Hanmu's mind. Garbage sorting green type. Observation type proficiency. 0 out of 100 effect. Precisely identify an item's function and value. What on earth? Garbage sorting. Do they even do garbage sorting in another world? Staring at the entry description, Hanmu fell into a brief daze. This green-grade observation type talent looked rather underwhelmed on the surface. Still, information was the most scarce resource early on. If I use this well, I can avoid plenty of missteps. Besides, it has a proficiency meter. This should be a growth-type talent. Before Hanmu could test his new ability, translucent text refreshed once more. Name: Hanmu. Human level: LV.00/10 strength, 8 constitution, 6 agility, 5 perception, 5 satiation, 31 out of 100 mental state, 90 out of 100 clear-headed equipment slots. 1 out of 1 second slot unlocks at LV.5 equipped item. Awakening stone active entries. Extra draw gold, garbage sorting green. At the same time, system knowledge flooded into his consciousness. Item quality determines entry quality. Items and entries are ranked: white, green, blue, purple, gold, red. Identical entries are overwritten by higher-grade versions. Effects do not stack. I've only got 1 equipment slot and 2 entries for now, Hanmu muttered to himself. When I level up and unlock new slots, I'll be able to permanently activate different entries. Hanmu dismissed the panel with his mind. He glanced down at his clothes, and faint cyan light settled over his vision. Lines of information materialized before his eyes. Item: budget short-sleeved t-shirt, white, durability. 1/2 purpose. Body covering for decency. Silence. Long silence. That's painfully realistic. He had half expected his clothes to count as proper gear. Instead, the talent's feedback was brutally down to earth. Garbage sorting. Proficiency +1/1/100. So inspecting items raises proficiency. Hanmu nodded thoughtfully, turning his attention to the console at the front of the minecart. First priority was figuring out the minecart status. Stepping forward, he read the large glowing display. Minecart number 12342 by 3SQ. M level, 1 load capacity, 300 kilograms energy, 20/60ths 1 energy point is almost equal to 1 hour runtime speed, 30 kilometers per hour installed modules, none durability, 30 out of 100 upgrade requirements, iron ore times 50, mechanical parts times 50 safety radius, 5M protection remaining, 3 days. According to the rules, absolute safety from the minecart only lasts 3 days. My top priority is upgrading the minecart to buy more time to develop. Hanmu opened the map panel to locate the nearest evacuation point. The closest one lay fully 1,000 kilometers away. What a terrible starting position. Hanmu's eyes twitched. Current energy only gets me roughly 600 kilometers. Still a long way from the evacuation spot. I've got 10 days. Head slowly toward the evacuation zone. Scavenge energy and upgrade materials along the way. No more hesitation. Hanmu started the minecart and input the destination on the console. With a low rumble, the minecart began to travel slowly into the fog. It even has autopilot. That's convenient. Hanmu sighed in relief and activated garbage sorting to observe outside. The fog was dense. Even with headlights shining through, visibility barely stretched 5 meters. Thanks to his talent, translucent labels floated out of the mist marking resources and their directions. Discarded iron drum, white purpose, storage container, or can be broken down for small amounts of iron, ore, and mechanical parts. Garbage sorting. Proficiency +1 2/100 garbage sorting. Proficiency +1 garbage sorting. Proficiency +1 80/100. He steered the minecart along, stowing every scrap he spotted inside the cabin. Watching his rising proficiency bar, Hanmu looked satisfied. At this rate, both the minecart and talent will hit their upgrade threshold soon. Staring at the pile of gathered supplies behind him, he mentally summoned a new panel. Detected decomposable materials. Item: discarded iron drum, white decomposition yield. Iron ore ×3, mechanical parts ×2. Begin decomposition? Hanmu's eyes lit up. He mentally confirmed without hesitation. Decomposition starting. Progress: 0%. Hanmu nodded, impressed by how smart the system seemed. 10 seconds past progress. 0%. 1 minute past progress. 0%. Hanmu's smile faded. Is this decomposition function slacking off? The progress bar remained frozen at 0. Hanmu twitched his mouth, glanced at the pickaxe in his hand, then looked at the discarded rails. A thought struck him. Do I have to do the work myself? His expression darkened. He gripped the pickaxe and smashed it hard against the iron drum. Clang! The loud crash echoed inside the minecart. The stagnant progress bar finally ticked forward. Decomposition progress, 1%. So-called decomposition only gives me a progress counter? He complained inwardly, yet kept swinging. Clang! 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 Iron shavings and debris scattered as the bar slowly climbed. Progress, 5% progress, 21%. Half an hour later, Hanmu leaned heavily on his pickaxe, gasping for breath. I really should have exercised more. The scraps on the ground dissolved into streams of light and flowed into his backpack, converted into iron, ore, wood, and other basic materials. Obtained. Iron ore +2 obtained. Wood +3 obtained. Mechanical parts +1. His formerly empty backpack slots were now filled with stacks of basic resources. At that moment, a notification popped up. Minecart upgrade materials requirement satisfied. Upgrade minecart. Hanmu brightened. He had finally gathered everything needed. Finally, upgraded. Iron ore -50, mechanical parts -50. Minecart upgrading. Estimated time remaining, 10 minutes. Watching the countdown tick away, Hanmu exhaled in relief. My talent is nearly level up too. I'll analyze more items while I wait. Glancing at his remaining proficiency, he refocused on resources visible through the fog, inspecting each one for details. Worn iron chain, white. Discarded iron drum, white. Iron ore, white. Each inspection triggered the familiar prompt. A few minutes later, the system alert popped again. Garbage sorting. Proficiency +1 100/100. Garbage sorting green has evolved into intelligence analysis blue effect. Receive 1 potentially useful piece of intelligence daily. Can analyze basic information for items and newly unlocked monsters. A blue-grade talent. Hanmu held his breath and scanned the fog ahead. Shortly afterward, a label unlike any resource appeared. Ore-eating rat, LV.1 strength, 7 constitution, 3 agility, 3 perception. For assessment, low threat. Can be defeated alone. This is monster stat visualization? Hanmu grew excited. His upgraded talent could directly display enemy statistics. From now on, he would no longer judge danger purely by appearances. Hanmu checked his own attribute sheet. Strength, 8 constitution, 6 agility, 5 perception, 5. Every stat of this creature sat below his own. In that case, Hanmu's mouth curled upward. I'll test my skills on you. After confirming no other monsters lurked nearby, Hanmu bit down on some compressed biscuits, grabbed his pickaxe, and stepped outside the minecart safe zone. Sensing the unfamiliar presence, the ore-eating rat squealed and lunged at Hanmu. As the rat leaped, Hanmu dodged sideways, swung his pickaxe with both hands, and smashed it against the creature's skull. Thud! Squeak! The ore-eating rat screeched, thrashing, trying to flee. Tough skull. Hanmu gave it no chance. He stepped forward and delivered a finishing blow, crushing its cranium. Defeated ore-eating rat LV.1, EXP plus 10. Level up. LV.0, LV.1. Gained 5 free attribute points. Obtained. Poultry necks times 3. Huh? Why do rat-like creatures drop poultry necks? Hanmu stared at the loot in confusion. It's edible, but something feels really off. I should trade these away when I get the chance. Closing his backpack, he looked at his newly earned attribute points and thought briefly. Prioritize strength and constitution for early survival. Strength. 812 plus 4 constitution. 67 plus 1 after allocating points. Warm energy surged through his body. He clenched his fist, noticeably feeling his increased physical power. If I met another one of those ore-eating rats now, I could finish it in one hit. While he was getting used to his boosted stats, the minecart's mechanical tone chimed once more. Minecart upgrade complete. Please select an installable module. 2 glowing module cards materialized before Hanmu's eyes. The left card shimmered blue, ringed with sharp metal spikes and radiating menace. Spike Fortress Blue type. Offensive module effect. When activated, the minecart unleashes piercing attacks every 5 seconds, damaging enemies in surrounding range. The right card glowed blue as well, interlocking gears rotating across its corner. Enhanced Drive Blue type. Power module effect. Plus 20% speed, plus 10% total energy capacity. A close-range defensive attack module won't be all that helpful once the newbie protection wears off. What I need most right now is mobility, to gather resources and level faster. Hanmu hesitated briefly, then mentally tapped the right-hand card. Module selected. Installing time remaining. 29 minutes and 59 seconds. Watching the installation timer count down, Hanmu stretched, picked up his pickaxe once more, and charged toward nearby low-level monsters. Take this. Defeated ore-eating rat LV.1, EXP plus 10. Take this. Defeated ore-eating rat LV.1, EXP plus 10. Obtained. Poultry next times 2. Half an hour later, after the last nearby ore-eating rat fell, another alert popped up. Level. LV.1, LV.2. Gained 5 free attribute points. Hanmu assigned his new points to strength and constitution again. Warm energy washed over him, soothing most of the muscle soreness built up from combat. Leveling up feels amazing. Just as he savored the thrill of power-ups, the cold mechanical voice interrupted once more. Regional survivor population halved. Supply drop event activated. Resource treasure chests will spawn in random locations every 8 hours. Good luck, survivors. The population is already cut in half. Hanmu was taken aback. Barely 2 hours had passed, yet so many people had perished. He opened the chat channel. Messages scrolled far slower than before. Many survivors shared his shock, venting fear and panic in public chat. Area Anonymous 1242. So many people have died already. What are we supposed to do next? Damn whoever put us in this situation. Regional Anonymous 5537. May the Bodhisattva bless us. May the Bodhisattva bless us. Regional Anonymous 8866. I'm really at my limit. My mental value is almost down to 30. Hee hee. Regional Anonymous 3538. I just saw something watching me from within the mist. I can't take it anymore. I'm getting out of here. It was not until the avatar of Regional Anonymous 3538 turned gray that Hanmu truly grasped just how cruel this world could be. He shook his head and closed the chat channel with a thought. Surviving himself mattered far more than feeling sympathy for others. With determined eyes, Hanmu looked back at the minecart, which had now finished upgrading. The upgraded minecart looked vastly different from before. Its shabby iron carriage now bore a faint metallic sheen. The patchy rust across its body had been replaced by alloy plating, giving it a far sturdier appearance. Minecart number 12342 by 3 square meters. Level 2. Load-bearing capacity 350 kilograms. Energy 19100 tenths. Please replenish energy promptly. Speed 48 kilometers per hour. Installed mods. Enhanced Drive Blue. Mod effect. Speed plus 20%. Total energy plus 10%. Durability 60/100. Upgrade requirements. Fine steel 250, mechanical parts 500, wood asterisk 500. Safe radius 5 m. New player protection remaining 3 days. Other than the still somewhat cramped space, all other stats have improved. Hanmu plopped down onto the ground, opened his backpack, and took stock of his remaining supplies. iron or 42, mechanical parts 28, wood 23, duck necks 10. He had expended quite a bit of stamina, yet it had been worth it. I've fought so many burrowing rats, and I've only looted 10 duck necks. Food is scarce early on. These duck necks could be traded for other materials. After thinking it over, Hanmu decided to trade the duck necks away. The duck necks dropped by rat-like creatures still left him feeling uneasy. He opened the trade interface. Many survivors were posting what they wanted to buy and sell. Selling exquisite wooden barrel in exchange for 10 portions of food or water. Selling rusted steel rebar in exchange for 1 weapon or piece of armor. Gift supplies by clicking avatars. Gain merit +1. Aside from a handful of legitimate trade posts, most messages were from people trying to get items for nothing. Hanmu shook his head and scrolled through the channels searching for what he needed. Selling 1x weapon crafting blueprint for 10 portions of food or water. Ready-made weapons or armor are also acceptable trades. A weapon crafting blueprint. Hanmu's eyes lit up. My pickaxe is running low on durability. It won't hold up against higher-rank monsters. I need to prepare ahead of time. He opened the details, and the item stats appeared before him. Weapon crafting blueprint. Type, consumable. Effect, used to craft a weapon. Weapon type and quality are randomized. That's all the information? Hanmu frowned. Randomized type and quality. If I only get common grade gear, this will be a bad deal. 10 portions of food were extremely valuable this early in the survival game. Staring at the item description, Hanmu suddenly remembered something. A faint cyan glow flickered in his eyes. Additional lines of text slowly appeared beneath the sparse effect description. Effect, used to craft a weapon. Weapon type and quality are randomized. Hidden information. This blueprint can craft heavy crossbow. Quality, green. Crafting materials, wood 10, iron or 5, mechanical parts *3. It really works. Hanmu let out a quiet laugh. It was like scratching a lottery ticket while already knowing the winning numbers. No gambling required. I'm taking it. Hanmu opened the trader's profile without hesitation. Unlike the chat system, the trade system displayed partial verified identity information. The trader was a young woman by the name of Faye Curson. She looked sweet-faced and roughly 20 years old. Private chat. Hanmu. Hello. Is that weapon blueprint still available? After a short wait, she replied. Private chat. Faye Curson, yes. Do you have 10 portions of food? Private chat. Hanmu. Can you lower the price a little? 10 portions of food is quite steep. Hanmu could gather 10 portions of food, yet with supplies so scarce, bargaining made sense. Private chat. Faye Curson. Ready-made equipment works too. Private chat. Hanmu. I don't have any on hand. Private chat. Faye Curson. Then do you have Minecart upgrade materials? 10 units of material count as 1 food portion. Hanmu raised an eyebrow reading the reply. 10 material units for 1 food portion. That seemed fairly reasonable. He was nowhere close to gathering the massive amounts needed for his next minecart upgrade. It made sense to acquire the blueprint first. Still, since he was already bargaining, he might as well push for a better offer. Private chat. Hanmu. I do have some materials, yet food and water are also in short supply for me. I truly cannot spare that much. Private chat. Hanmu. How about 3 portions of food, 1 bottle of mineral water, and 20 units of iron ore? Private chat. Faye Curson. You might as well ask me to hand it to you for free. Private chat. Hanmu. Food is incredibly precious right now. Please understand. I'm genuinely interested. There was a long pause on the other end. Private chat. Faye Curson. Add 1 more food portion and another 10 iron ore. Private chat. Hanmu deal. Hanmu quickly opened the trade panel. He placed 4 duck necks, 1 bottle of mineral water, and 20 iron ore into the trading slots. He tapped Confirm Trade. Once the other party confirmed, a tattered blueprint appeared inside Hanmu's trade inventory. Hanmu stowed the blueprint in his backpack and prepared to craft the weapon. Dozens of private messages flooded in all at once. Private chat. Faye Curson. Can you explain where these duck necks came from? The item description says, dropped by or devouring rats. Private chat. Faye Curson. Rats drop duck necks? Are these even normal duck necks? Hello. Answer me. She's completely thrown off. Hanmu's eyelid twitched. He also wanted to know why rats drop duck necks. He had no proper answer to give, so he silently closed the chat window. He could easily picture the sweet-faced girl staring in utter disbelief on the other side. Inside her minecart, Faye Curson's face darkened as she read the item description, a wave of revulsion washing over her. Ugh, her complexion paled, and a vein bulged on her forehead. She had thought she was getting a good bargain. Even if the other man had haggled fiercely, trading a blind box blueprint for 4 food portions plus minecart upgrade materials had seemed worthwhile. She never imagined the duck necks were loot from giant rats. After taking several deep breaths to calm herself, she checked her status. Satiety, 3/100. Hanmu, just you wait. Following an internal struggle, she gritted her teeth, closed her eyes, and bit into one of the duck necks. Inside his own minecart elsewhere, Hanmu suddenly sneezed. Did I catch a chill? He rubbed his nose and shivered, returning his attention to his workbench. On the bench lay the newly traded blueprint alongside the required crafting materials shown in the hidden information. Weapon crafting blueprint. Type, consumable. Unlocks a randomized weapon recipe upon appraisal. Initiate appraisal. Cost, mental value *10. Appraise. At Hanmu's thought, pale blue light swept across the blueprint. Appraisal complete. Text surfaced across the blueprint's surface. Heavy crossbow crafting blueprint green. Craft type, ranged weapon. Crafting requirements, wood 10, iron, or 5, mechanical parts *3. The hidden information was completely accurate. A small smile tugged at Hanmu's lips. This further validated his special talent. All crafting requirements met. Proceed with crafting? Craft. Materials lifted off the workbench, pulled together by invisible force. Wood, iron ore, and mechanical parts merged amid clanking noises. Clank, clank. Dozens of seconds passed. The scattered materials had assembled into an exquisitely built crossbow. Crafting successful. Obtained. Heavy crossbow green. Attack power, 25. Range, 80 meters. Durability, 150/150. Hanmu picked it up. Cold metal pressed against his palm. Compared with his old pickaxe, this crossbow felt far more solid. He drew back the bowstring. Buzz. A translucent energy bolt formed in the firing groove, rippling with faint blue light. Moments later, he released the string and dispersed the energy projectile. It forms bolts out of pure energy. That saves ammunition resources. Hanmu muttered. Yet it needs time to charge before firing. Against sudden ambushes, I might not get a shot off in time. He felt no disappointment. Every piece of gear had drawbacks. Gaining a ranged combat option greatly improved his odds of survival. Hanmu felt grateful for his information-gathering talent. Without intelligence analysis, revealing hidden data, he would never have obtained green-tier equipment. Something else crossed his mind. After his talent leveled up, it had unlocked an extra feature. Receive one potentially useful piece of intel every day. He focused his mind, and pale blue text materialized before his eyes. Today's intel, 20 kilometers northwest, lies a severely injured mutated creature LV.5. Note, high chance of special material drops upon defeat. Intelligence analysis, proficiency plus 33/100. Hanmu stared, surprised. Injured? A mutated beast. He frowned and weighed the information. A monster flagged for special material drops was undeniably dangerous. Yet rare materials held immense value. In this brutal new world, rare resources could be traded for supplies or unlock major developmental opportunities. Hanmu glanced at his minecart stats. 20 kilometers is not far. With its upgraded speed, the minecart could cover that distance in roughly half an hour. Gripping his new crossbow, he gained confidence. It's worth trying. The monster's critical injuries were his biggest advantage. Between the minecart's protection barrier and his new ranged weapon, he stood a realistic chance of victory. Even if he failed to kill it, he could retreat safely. There was little to lose. Boom. Hanmu started the minecart without delay. He set a navigation marker on his map and headed northwest. 20 kilometers away, inside a wrecked mine tunnel, the air reeked of fresh blood. Signs of a brutal battle littered the area. Several survivors drove minecarts carefully through the cavern. At the head of the convoy sat a handsome young man. He studied blood splatters across the ground with a deep frown. That beast was terrifying. Without new player protection, we would all have died out there. A scar-faced man swallowed hard. That mutated creature is unlike any other. Its body parts will fetch an enormous price. Ming used his talent to gravely wound it. It cannot have gotten far. The group fell silent and followed the trail of blood deeper into the mine. Half an hour later, Hanmu arrived amid roiling mist. He activated intelligence analysis. Aside from scattered resource markers, he saw no trace of the monster. Could the intel be wrong? He furrowed his brow. Past experience suggested the talent's information was highly reliable. Perhaps the wounded beast had moved elsewhere. Odd, intermittent noises echoed out of a nearby mine tunnel. Hanmu tensed up. A massive shadow emerged from the fog. Cyan light flashed in Hanmu's eyes. Mutated claw lizard LV.5. Strength, 30. Constitution, 15. Agility, 12. Perception, 10. Assessment, devastating close-range combatant. Severe injuries have drastically weakened it. The intel holds true. Excitement stirred inside Hanmu. The lizard bore fresh, gaping abdominal wounds that dripped blood. Even crippled, its massive frame radiated overwhelming menace. The claw lizard spotted Hanmu. It let out a guttural roar and charged toward him. As it crossed the minecart's 5-meter boundary, an invisible barrier flickered into existence. Bang! The lizard slammed hard against the shield and was thrown backward. This is my chance. Hanmu raised his heavy crossbow. A blue energy bolt formed and shot forward, burying itself deep in the monster's wounded abdomen. Roar! The lizard screamed in agony, its aura fading. Hanmu kept firing bolt after bolt. More wounds opened across its body. Fear of death flickered in its eyes. It twisted and fled toward a nearby valley. Trying to run, Hanmu would not let a level 5 mutated beast escape. He leaped out of the safe zone, jumped high into the air, swapped to his pickaxe, and swung downward with full force. Crash! The pickaxe slammed into the lizard's huge body. The final sliver of the tool's durability drained completely. The pickaxe shattered into glowing particles and vanished. The claw lizard collapsed heavily to the ground. Defeated mutated claw lizard LV.5, experience plus 800. Level up, LV.2, LV.4, gained 10 free attribute points. Obtained special material, mutated crystal purple *1. Obtained special material, lizard scale blue *1. Obtained rare beast meat blue *10. The monster's corpse dissolved into light particles. Hanmu stored all loot in his backpack, confused. Where did this injured beast come from? Its wounds had not come naturally. It had clearly been fleeing from something. Something far more dangerous must be nearby. Roaring minecart engines echoed from deeper within the mine. Several vehicles soon came into sight, speeding toward him. Hanmu tightened his grip on his crossbow. Intelligence analysis could parse monsters and items, yet yielded no data on other human survivors. The minecarts halted in front of him. Doors slid open, and a thin young man stepped out. Hey you, did you see a badly hurt monster run past here? The thin man spoke in arrogant, domineering tones. Hanmu said nothing. He stood guard behind his readied crossbow and allocated all 10 free attribute points into agility. This was his first encounter with other survivors in this world, yet he felt no joy. The newcomer's hostile intent was obvious. They must have been the ones who wounded the claw lizard. Cat got your tongue? I asked you a question. Irritation showed on the thin man's face. So you refused to cooperate. He let out a cold laugh and sprinted straight for Hanmu, dagger glinting in his hand, aiming at Hanmu's shoulder. If you won't talk, die? Hanmu's eyes turned cold. His crossbow had already finished charging. Swish! The energy bolt flew toward the man's wrist. Ah! He screamed. His dagger clattered to the ground before he could react. Hanmu immediately began charging a second bolt, intent on finishing the fight. There was no room for compromise once hostilities had broken out. Just before the second bolt struck the thin man's face, a shout rang out. A burly figure dashed in front of him and swung a pickaxe, smashing the projectile mid-flight. Clang! Great force jolted the big man's arm, sending him staggering several steps backward. He glanced at his tingling palm, his expression slowly turning grave. Dao Ge, this guy attacked me out of nowhere. The thin man clutched his injured wrist, his face dark with pain. An unprovoked attack. Hanmu said coldly. What a case of the villain crying victim first. Silence fell over the surroundings. Scar-faced Dao Ge stared fixedly at Hanmu. This ordinary-looking young man had managed to wound his companion in an instant. The weapon in his hand is definitely not white grade. Kid, you went far too hard, Dao Ge snapped. That strike he swung earlier was meant to kill me. Hanmu scoffed. He recharged his crossbow, summoning another energy bolt. I have no habit of holding back against enemies. The atmosphere grew far tenser. Dao Ge tightened his grip on his pickaxe, his gaze turning vicious. As the two sides stood deadlocked, the door of the mine cart in the background slowly slid open. Friend, there is no need for such hostility. My companions acted rashly just now. A handsome young man stepped out of the mine cart and nodded toward Hanmu, speaking with a distinct regional accent. I apologize on their behalf. He had the features of northern frontier folk, his looks gentle and pleasing. Despite his harmless-seeming demeanor, Hanmu grew instantly alert. The moment this young man appeared, the agitated Dao Ge and the others fell completely quiet. Clearly, this youth was their true leader. My name is Li Ming. May I know your name, friend? Spare the pleasantries, Hanmu replied, keeping his crossbow raised. Li Ming smiled faintly. You are quite wary. But who among those who survive in this place could be naive? He glanced toward where the claw lizard had vanished. The bloodstains and battle-scarred ground told him everything he needed to know. We were the ones chasing that monster here. Its body materials are extremely valuable to us. Han Mu raised an eyebrow. So what are you saying? Li Ming paused briefly before speaking slowly. To slay a rank 5 abomination shows you possess real strength. Be our ally, and hand over the spoils you obtained. We will give you 20 food rations in exchange. Han Mu's expression darkened, and he almost laughed. If he had not intercepted the lizard, the creature would have gotten away long ago. Now these people wanted him to hand over his loot, offering merely 20 food rations as compensation. Li Ming kept his gentle smile. We mean no harm. Let us each make concessions. His words sounded like negotiation, yet carried an unyielding pressure. Han Mu's eyes sharpened, and he stepped slightly backward. If he refused, this conversation would end in violence. Seeing Han Mu's movement, Li Ming's smile vanished entirely. It seems you refuse to be our friend. Then you will die. Golden light burst forth from Li Ming's body. A massive, swirling energy vortex formed above his head, and the phantom of a huge golden artillery piece materialized. The thin man's eyes blazed with fanaticism as he beheld the figure. Brother Ming's golden talent is terrifying. Dao Ge grinned ferociously. Brother Ming awakened the golden rank offensive talent golden 3-shot cannon. That kid is doomed. So that is his talent, Han Mu muttered, watching the golden figure. He loosed volley after volley of energy bolts toward Li Ming. Strangely, every bolt vanished the instant it neared the golden vortex. No wonder he could badly injure the claw lizard. Truly formidable. Han Mu's eyes swept rapidly over his surroundings. The enemy outnumbered him, and Li Ming's talent was eerily powerful. A head-on fight would leave him at a severe disadvantage. His gaze drifted to the mine cart behind him. The cart's novice protection barrier only repelled monsters. It offered no defense against other humans. He could rely on nothing but himself. I have to try. A glint of cyan flashed in Han Mu's eyes as he stared at the artillery phantom above Li Ming. Seconds later, pale blue text appeared. Golden 3-shot cannon. Second shot golden. Type, talent forged construct. Effect, gather metallic energy to unleash a devastating cannon strike, dealing massive damage. Evaluation, extremely dangerous. Long charge-up time. Vulnerable to interruption during charging. Han Mu's eyes flickered as he read the information. The artillery piece was a construct forged by talent, something his ability could analyze. Charge-up time, interrupt the charge. The golden vortex blocked ranged energy attacks, yet it was not absolute defense. That was his opening. Li Ming's golden aura looked impenetrable, tricking most people into thinking they could only dodge. Now that Han Mu knew its weakness, he would not let Li Ming finish charging. He checked his status panel. Agility, 15. All attribute points from his last level up had gone into agility, and now they would prove useful. If he closed the distance, he might stand a fighting chance. Let's do this. Han Mu focused, conjuring another energy bolt. He pushed hard off his right foot and darted forward. Just as he was about to rush Li Ming, a deafening roar echoed from a nearby valley. The whole area shook violently. Boom. The ground heaved. A far larger abomination burst out of the valley and slammed into the protective barrier around their minecart. A deafening crash rang out. Everyone froze. The golden artillery phantom above Li Ming's head shuddered violently. Damn it, Li Ming cursed for the first time. The tremor had forcibly broken his charge. Brother Ming, Dao Ge. The thin man shouted in terror. Already wounded from fighting Han Mu, he stumbled and fell outside the minecart's safety zone. Kid, Dao Ge shouted, reaching to pull him back. A huge shadow flashed past the minecart. Ah! The thin man's scream cut short amid a spray of blood. He was killed instantly. What horrifying speed! What rank is this monster? Han Mu's pupils constricted. He spun around and retreated toward his own minecart, activating his intelligence analysis ability to observe the giant shadow. Claw Lizard King LV.15, Strength, 100. Constitution, 50. Agility, 30. Perception, 20. Evaluation, Regional Overlord Class Creature. Suggestion, use others as cover and flee. 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 Level 15. This beast was likely the mother of the slain claw lizard, drawn by its offspring's death aura. Han Mu glanced at Li Ming's group, his expression grim. None of them stood a chance against such a foe. What have these people stirred up? Chaos engulfed the mine tunnel zone. The Lizard King slammed repeatedly against the mine cart barrier, which rippled and trembled under the assault. Crash. Massive impacts sent rock fragments raining down, choking dust billowing everywhere. Though the Lizard King could not breach the barrier, it harassed Li Ming's group relentlessly. The constant shaking left Dao Ge dizzy. Li Ming clenched his fists, dodging falling stones and dust, his face twisted with rage. They had only set out to hunt the wounded claw lizard, yet they had awakened this apex predator. Li Ming glared at the retreating Han Mu, malice in his eyes. That cursed man. I will remember this debt. Meanwhile, Han Mu wore a faint smirk amid the chaos. Li Ming's large group and their cluster of mine carts drew nearly all of the Lizard King's attention. Han Mu's single cart went unnoticed. "Wanna kill me?" Han Mu sneered. "Survive this first." He hurried back, started his mine cart, and slipped away into the thick dust. Safe radius, 5 m, remaining duration, 2 days. Behind a well-concealed earthen mound, Han Mu stood beside his mine cart, drinking bottled water. More than 10 hours had passed since his narrow escape from the Lizard King. He had constantly altered his route while heading for the evacuation zone to throw off potential pursuers. He knew Li Ming's party would not let him go so easily. Only after reaching this mound, using intelligence analysis to scan the surroundings, and confirming no high-rank abominations or Li Ming's men were nearby, did he finally relax. Some survivors are already forming teams, Han Mu sighed, stowing his water bottle. This encounter had been dangerous, yet rewarding. He had gained rare materials and witnessed other survivors' power, especially Li Ming with his golden talent. Golden talents truly live up to their reputation. He turned his attention to his backpack and examined his newly acquired loot. Purple mutation core. Type: consumable. Use: contains energy from mutated creatures. Required item to unlock? Cannot display full information. Han Mu had never encountered an item his analysis could not fully decode. Still, incomplete data implied immense value. He stored it away, planning to research its function later. Blue lizard scale. Type: material. Use: high hardness material for crafting equipment. Crafting bonus: sturdy, greatly increases equipment durability. Blue rare beast meat. Type: food. Use: restores 20 satiety points, grants 150 experience points upon consumption. Experience points? Han Mu's eyes lit up. Beast meat that granted experience was an unexpected bonus. He was only one level away from unlocking his second equipment slot, and this meat would get him there. Still, he could not bring himself to eat the raw, bloody flesh. Raw meat is out of the question. I need fire to cook it. He opened the trade interface. Many survivors had adapted to this world, exchanging food and minecart upgrade materials. Han Mu quickly located what he needed. White lighter. Type: consumable. Use: ignites 10 times total. Trade requirement: 5 iron or 5 mechanical parts. Han Mu completed the trade without hesitation. Minutes later, he stared at the orange-red flames with anticipation. He placed the rare beast meat over the fire to roast. A rich aroma gradually spread. Roasted beast meat tastes surprisingly good. Han Mu tore off a piece and bit into it. A system prompt popped up. Consumed blue rare beast meat. Satiety plus 20, experience plus 150. It works. Han Mu's eyes brightened. He ate 4 more portions. A translucent panel floated before him. Satiety: 87-100/100. Experience: 658-800/800. Level: LV.4, LV.5. Gained 5 free attribute points. Congratulations. Second equipment slot unlocked. Current equipment slots: 1/2. Unlock third slot at LV 20 or by permanently embedding 5 or more white rank or higher affixes. Finally, the second equipment slot. He assigned his new points to strength and constitution. His system panel appeared. Name: Han Mu Human. Level: LV.50/1600. Strength: 1620 plus 4. Constitution: 89 plus 1. Agility: 15. Perception: 5. Satiety: 100/100. Mental energy: 45 out of 100 fatigued. Equipment slots: 1/2. Equipped item: Awakening Stone. Active affixes: 1 more draw golden, intelligence analysis blue. Han Mu exhaled, feeling his enhanced power. Growing stronger brings real peace of mind. He studied his newly unlocked slot. Wondering what to equip weary from his ordeal, he leaned against the workbench inside the mine cart and closed his eyes. Drip drop, Han Mu jolted awake, grabbing his heavy crossbow and scanning his surroundings. He glanced out the window and relaxed upon seeing rain pouring down. Even the mine tunnels have weather changes. Rain lashed the windows, and he shivered. I slept far too deeply. Exhaustion from the previous day's fighting had pulled him into heavy sleep. After a full night's rest, his mental energy was fully restored. He stretched, warmed up briefly, and opened the regional chat channel. Many survivors had begun forming squads. Messages scrolled rapidly. Anonymous 8866. Anyone at evacuation point A3? My minecart is upgraded. Let's team up. Anonymous 18424, Evacuation Point C4. I have intel on rank 3 abominations. Will supply food for minecart upgrade parts. Anonymous 6537. I'm trapped in a monster nest. Can anyone rescue me? I'm 200 kilometers east of A5. Anonymous 25580. Then trade your leftover supplies to us. Resource optimization. Anonymous 4763. Count me in too. Anonymous 6537. If you get me out, I will hand over all my supplies and all my information. Anonymous 25580. Fool, you leaked your coordinates. We'll come collect your goods in 2 days. Anonymous 6537. Go to hell. Hanmu sighed, reading the messages. In the end times, humanity itself was often the greatest danger. He opened his daily intelligence panel. Today's intel, 20 kilometers southeast, lies in energy or vein. Note, rich deposits of energy and mineral materials. Intelligence analysis proficiency plus 36/100. Each piece of intel grants 3 proficiency points. I still need 32 days to level up this talent. He checked his minecart interface. Energy, 3/100 tenths, please replenish promptly. Energy was nearly depleted. He had considered trading rare beast meat for power, but this new intel gave him a better option. The Orvane 20 kilometers away could solve his energy shortage. Still, he needed proper preparations. If he could receive this information, others might possess similar insights. Conflict was possible. Hanmu posted a trade request. Wanted, green grade or higher armor crafting blueprint. Offering, 6 duck necks, 10 mechanical parts. After a long wait, a private message notification popped up. Private message Faye Curson, it really is you. Hanmu, how did she find me? Hanmu's eyelids twitched. Private message Faye Curson, answer me quickly. Hanmu considered ignoring her until the next messages arrived. Private message Faye Curson, 1x giant hammer crafting blueprint, 1x defensive armor crafting blueprint. Private message Faye Curson, if you don't reply, I sell them to someone else. Hanmu checked the details. Blue giant hammer crafting blueprint. Type, consumable. Effect, crafts random hammer type weapon. Crafting materials, 25 iron ore, 10 mechanical parts. Blue defensive armor crafting blueprint. Type, consumable. Effect, crafts random defensive armor. Crafting materials, 20 wood, 10 iron ore. Blue-grade blueprints. Hanmu was surprised and curious about Faye Curson. She had obtained so many blueprints and resources in just one day. She was no ordinary survivor. Private message Hanmu, name your price. Private message Faye Curson, finally reply, you haggler. Private message Hanmu, let's get down to business. Private message Faye Curson, 20 water or food rations for both blueprints. Hanmu frowned. Where would she need so much food? His total stock of water and food barely met that number. Trading everything would leave him nothing to survive on. Private message Hanmu, 6 duck necks, 2 bottled water, for compressed biscuits, 2 rare beast meat portions. That is all I can spare. These include high-quality rations. Trade these for the 2 blueprints plus their required crafting materials. Silence followed his message. After a long pause, Faye Curson replied. Private message Faye Curson, you drive a brutal bargain. You haggler. Private message Hanmu, this is my absolute best offer. Seconds later, her reply came. Private message Faye Curson, deal. Hanmu wondered what she needed so much food for, yet he asked no questions. He placed his items into the trade window. Immediately afterward, Faye Curson sent over the 2 blueprints and the required batch of materials. After Hanmu double-checked the blueprint details, he got straight to work. Moments later, the item crafting finished. Obtained, Blacksmith's Giant Hammer Blue. Attack power, 40. Durability, 300/300. Effect, 20% boost to efficiency when gathering minerals and dismantling resources. Obtained, Exquisite Armor Blue. Armor value, 15. Durability, 300/300. Effect, Perception +5. Note, weapon attack power and armor value convert directly into corresponding attributes. Example, 1 attack power equals 1 strength, 1 armor value equals 1 constitution. Staring at the 2 newly forged blue-grade pieces of gear, Hanmu equipped them right away. His status panel refreshed. Name, Hanmu Human. Level, LV.50/1600. Strength, 60. Constitution, 24. Agility, 15. Perception, 10. Not satisfied yet, Hanmu pulled the magic lizard scales and mutated crystal core out of his backpack. With a thought, a faint translucent blue panel unfolded. Detachable keepable item detected. Mutated crystal core purple. Preview equipment affix. Lizard transformation purple. Preview affix effect. Transform into a claw-rending magic lizard for combat. All attributes double. Duration, 30s. Cooldown, 1h. Preview permanent unlock condition. Obtain 1 strand of Overlord rank Lizard Clan Trueblood. Overlord rank. There's no way I can fulfill that permanent unlock anytime soon. Still, this gives me an extra life-saving trump card. Hanmu shifted his gaze to the magic lizard scales, and the text updated. Detectable A keepable item. Magic lizard scales blue. Preview equipment affix. Sturdy physique blue. Preview affix effect. Reinforce the toughness of internal organs. Base constitution plus 20%. Preview permanent unlock condition. Sustain 500 impacts while the item remains equipped. Current equipment slots January 2nd. Equip now? Reading through the magic lizard scale stats, Hanmu chose to equip it immediately. I need to raise my base attributes as fast as possible early on. Equipment successful. Affix gained. Sturdy physique blue. Affix effect. Reinforce the toughness of internal organs. Base constitution plus 20%. Permanent unlock condition. Sustain 500 impacts while equipped progress. 0 out of 500. Before Hanmu could even let out a breath, the awakening stone sitting in his first equipment slot dissolved into soft light and merged into his body. Translucent text popped up once more. Pre-equipped item, awakening stone. Active affix, 1 more draw gold. Permanent unlock conditions met. Permanent unlock complete. 1 more draw gold has become a permanent affix. Item consumed. Current equipment slots, January 2nd. Unlock 3rd slot upon reaching LV.20 or permanently unlocking 5+ white rank or higher affixes. I'd completely forgotten I already had 3 affixes active. Pleasantly surprised, Hanmu took out the mutated crystal core. Cannot equip it this time. A 60-minute cooldown applies after freeing an equipment slot before re-equipping items. As expected, there is a cooldown. Hanmu stowed the crystal core away, set his navigation marker, and headed for the location from the intelligence report. About half an hour later, Hanmu arrived outside an unassuming mine entrance. He spotted Minecart while tracks across the ground and frowned. Someone's already been here. He had no idea how many resources the intruder had taken. Only 1 set of tracks. Let's go in and check. Hanmu started up his minecart, resolve hardening. He had come this far, and he would not leave empty-handed. Chances were the trespasser had worked alone and could not have stripped the whole site. If all else failed, he could trade monster meat for energy supplies and head to the extraction point. Boom. The minecart rumbled into the tunnel. Hanmu kept his speed low. He picked off alien creatures along the path with his crossbow, clearing obstacles on his retreat route. Deeper inside, a half-shut stone gate came into view. Bloodstains and marks of heavy combat marred its surface. A fierce fight had clearly taken place here. Hanmu climbed out of the cart, peered through the gap, and saw no living creatures. He exhaled and shoved the gate open. A thick stench of blood washed over him. His expression turned grave. Multiple passages branched off behind the gate, every one scored with minecart tracks. Let's head down one and see. Without further hesitation, Hanmu drove the cart down one tunnel. More than 10 minutes passed before the minecart ground to a halt at a narrow stretch of path. Can't go any further. Hanmu hesitated, then decided to advance on foot. A faint cyan glow tinted his eyes as he moved cautiously forward, his grip tightening around the mutated crystal core in his hand. Several minutes of careful creeping brought him to a wider clearing. The sight before him caught him completely off guard. Brilliant green light surged like an emerald lake. Upon closer look, the ground was carpeted with pale green or chunks. Energy, crystal green. Use, stores massive amounts of energy for powering devices. Hanmu stared at the field of crystals and drew a sharp breath. There must have been hundreds, maybe thousands of them. I've hit the jackpot. Shock faded in a few seconds. He pulled out his blacksmith's giant hammer and started smashing the ore. Bang, bang, bang. Obtained. Energy crystal times 2. Obtained. Energy crystal times 3. Obtained. Energy crystal times 1. Such a stockpile of energy crystals represented an enormous fortune for this stage of the world. Excitement surged through Hanmu. This trip had more than paid off. Whoosh. Just as Hanmu hammered away eagerly, a sharp whistling sound cut through the air. He threw himself sideways, drew his heavy crossbow, and scanned his surroundings warily. A wooden arrow quivered in the ground exactly where he had stood. Human. Hanmu's gaze locked forward. 2 figures stepped out from another passage behind a crystal field. They were human-shaped beings with deep green skin. System intelligence fed him their full stats. Goblin Miner LV.2. Strength, 12. Constitution, 8. Agility, 5. Perception, 5. Assessment. Slow-moving, low threat. Goblin Archer LV.3. Strength. 15. Constitution. 4. Agility. 10. Perception. 5. Assessment. Decent range damage. Poses moderate danger. Good. Neither is higher than level 3. Hanmu loosed several energy-charged bolts without warning. The two goblins screeched hoarsely. The archer scrambled back and returned fire. Swish, swish, swish. Arrows rained down, locking down Hanmu's position. The minor goblin hurled its iron pickaxe straight at him. Hanmu dodged, sprinted toward his foes, pushed off the rock wall, and landed above the goblin miner. His giant hammer crashed down with crushing force, reducing the creature to a spray of gore. Killed goblin miner LV.2. Experience plus 20. Fear flashed across the archer goblin's face. It abandoned its attack and lifted a horn to its lips. An energy bolt tore through its torso before it could blow. Whoa! The horn blared even as the goblin dissolved into fragments. Alarm blared in Hanmu's mind. A terrible premonition washed over him. He snatched up loot dropped by the miner and fled. Horrific howls echoed behind him, spurring him to run faster. He jumped back into his minecart and raced toward the exit. Back at the crystal clearing, far larger goblins roared in rage over the depleted crystals and their dead kin. Their aura vastly outmatched the earlier pair. The whole mine trembled under their presence. That thing really called for reinforcements. Thank goodness I ran fast. Once he had put some distance between himself and the hostiles, Hanmu relaxed his tensed muscles and pushed the cart to maximum speed. Hanmu mentally checked his backpack as he traveled through the tunnel, a deep sense of satisfaction settling over him. He had gathered 200 energy crystals in a very short time, more than he could ever have imagined before. After a quick think, he planned to use some crystals to refuel his minecart and trade the rest for rare materials. His eyes fell on loot dropped by the slain goblin miner. Boomerang Skill Scroll LV.1 Green. Type. Skill Book. Effect. Learn Boomerang. Throw melee weapons and have them return to your hand. A skill? Is this the attack that goblin used? Hanmu took the scroll in his hand. Translucent text surfaced. Detectable A keepable item. Boomerang Skill Scroll Green. Preview Equipment Affix. Precision Throw Green. 20% increased hit chance for thrown items, plus 20% thrown attack damage. Preview Permanent Unlock Condition. Land 300 successful hits with thrown attacks. Current equipment slots January 2nd. Equip now? Precision Throw. Hanmu's eyes lit up. While this affix did not raise base physical stats, it was extremely practical. Combined with throwing skills, melee weapons could double as ranged weapons to pull off unexpected combat tricks. Best of all, its permanent unlock requirement, landing thrown hits, seemed fairly manageable. Equip. Hanmu willed it, and the scroll vanished. Knowledge flooded his mind. Proper throwing motions, effective range, every nuance of the boomerang skill was imprinted into his consciousness. This must be the bonus for equipping skill-type items. No need to figure everything out by trial and error. His panel updated. Equipment slots, 2 halves. Equipped items, Magic Lizard Scales, Boomerang Skill Scroll. Active affixes, Intelligence Analysis Blue, Sturdy Physique Blue, Precision Throw Green. Permanent affixes, 1 more draw gold. Skill, Boomerang LV.1 Proficiency, 0 out of 100. Though he understood the skill intellectually, he still needed physical practice. Hanmu stood and began practicing. A quarter hour went by before he realized something strange. He had not reached the mine exit, nor could he see the stone gate he had passed through on entry. Could the tunnels be shifting? Hanmu calmed himself and stopped advancing blindly. He pulled an iron or chunk from his backpack and set it on the ground beside the cart as a marker. He restarted the mine cart and drove onward. 10 minutes later, he rounded a familiar bend. The same iron or chunk sat exactly where he had left it. Damn it! Trapped in winding, pitch-black tunnels would fray anyone's composure. He slapped his own cheek to refocus and brainstormed a solution. He placed another iron or marker further along, then used his giant hammer to carve a deep notch into a rock face. He sat still and observed. Time dragged on. His mental strain built, and his mental value steadily dropped. Am I going to die down here? Crack. A faint scraping sound echoed. Hanmu spun toward the noise. A goblin clung to a stretch of bare rock wall where nothing had been a moment before. Its hideous green face snarled, and it lunged at him. Where did that come from? Taken by surprise, Hanmu hurled a piece of, or at it. The goblin leaped upward onto the ceiling. The throne or altered its trajectory mid-flight, smacked square into the goblin's face, then arced back into Hanmu's grasp. Precision, throw green. Permanent unlock progress, 1/300. Boomerang LV.1. Proficiency plus 1/1/100. Enraged, the goblin prepared to strike again. This time Han Mu threw his giant hammer. It crashed into the monster, which dissolved into experience points. Han Mu noticed the rock wall bearing his carved notch had shifted position. The tunnels really are rearranging themselves. He carefully observed the pattern of movement. Eventually, he worked out the rhythm. At the exact moment the tunnels shifted, he gunned the minecart forward into a new passage. He breathed in relief when his old markers did not reappear. His relief was short-lived. A strange shape loomed out of the darkness ahead. Han Mu slammed on the brakes. Suspended in mid-air by thick, twisting vines hung a black minecart. This had to be the vehicle belonging to the person who had entered before him. Its state warned of deadly hidden danger in this zone. Han Mu prepared to sneak past, when a woman's voice rang out. "Hey, did you come after my distress message? I'm Unit 6537. Unit 6537? Han Mu recognized the call sign from the public chat channel. By pure chance, he had stumbled straight to where she was trapped. "Get me down, and all my resources are yours." The woman called urgently. Han Mu made no move. "How did you end up trapped here?" "I found this special mine. I was about to leave and got caught in this trap," she replied quickly. "A special mine? Did you find anything valuable?" "No, nothing." Her answer came too fast, and Han Mu caught the faint hesitation in her tone. A faint smile tugged at Han Mu's lips. "If you are not going to be honest, I'll leave you here. Good luck." He turned his minecart around. "Wait." Panic flooded her voice. "Wait, you jerk. I found an egg." Han Mu brought the cart to a halt. "An egg?" "Yes, an egg. Rescue me, and it is yours," she offered. Han Mu thought it over, but still did not move. Instead, he opened the game system trade interface and sent a trade request to Unit 6537. The woman inside the hanging cart was visibly stunned when the prompt popped up. "You have got to be kidding me. Fulfill your end first, then I rescue you," Han Mu said flatly. "I do not trust strangers blindly. How can I trust you will actually get me down?" She gritted her teeth. "You have no other choice," Han Mu replied without emotion. Silence stretched. At last she gave in and placed item after item into the trade window. The trade completed. Han Mu checked his backpack and was pleasantly surprised. Iron ore times 1880, fine steel times 100, energy crystal times 980, unknown egg times 1. The haul exceeded his expectations. Resources inside this special mine far outstripped ordinary areas. "That is everything," the woman snapped. "Now get me down." "Nothing else?" Han Mu asked casually. Truly nothing left. He suspected she still held something back, but chose not to press the point. It was wise to leave some leeway for future encounters. Han Mu climbed out of his minecart, scanned the surroundings for threats, then swung his giant hammer hard against the thick vines holding up the other cart. Boom. The hammer struck home and left only a shallow dent. The vines were far tougher than anticipated. No wonder they can hold an entire minecart aloft. The hammer boomeranged back to his hand. He threw it again, aiming for the exact same spot. Boom, boom, boom. Repeated strikes barely damaged the vine mass. "Brute force won't work," the woman inside the suspended cart called out. "I have already tried. Fire and blades do nothing to these vines. That is why I have been stuck for so long." Han Mu ignored her. Low rumbling vibrations grew louder, drawing closer. Damn, they caught up faster than I hoped. He glanced toward the source of the rumble, then up at the hanging cart. Flee, or attempt to rescue. After a brief moment of hesitation, he stowed his hammer, scanned his surroundings once more, and stepped back. Then he sprinted forward, pushed hard off the stone wall, and jumped to land squarely on top of the suspended minecart. The woman's eyes widened in shock. "What physical ability, Han Mu? What level are you?" Han Mu glanced down at her. Her appearance matched her trade system avatar. She was quite good-looking, yet her loud, brash manner clashed sharply with her real name, Su Yue. Asking someone's level is like asking a woman's age. "It is impolite," Han Mu said coolly. Su Yue rolled her eyes. "Humph, keep your secrets." "Grab my hand," Han Mu ordered. "For what?" She blinked in confusion. The rumbling drew nearer. "Do you want to stay here or not?" Realizing how close danger was, Su Yue paled. "Did you draw those monsters here?" She reached out, and Han Mu seized her wrist. In one smooth motion, he hauled her onto the cart roof. "Jump," Han Mu said. "Jump? From this height, we will get hurt." Han Mu did not wait for her to finish. He held onto her and leaped off the suspended cart. Thud. Without pausing, he hurried toward his own mine cart not far away, set her safely onto the ground beside it, and raised his weapon. An energy arrow shot forth. At the same time, a giant hammer was flung out rapidly, colliding with an object flying out of the darkness. Boom. A massive shockwave erupted. The giant hammer flew straight back into Han Mu's hands. The overwhelming force sent his whole body flying backward. Using that recoil, Hanmu moved with lightning speed. He grabbed Su Yue by the collar and carried her safely down to the minecart's secured area. "Get on first," Hanmu snapped in a low voice. From the darkness, a goblin over 3 meters tall burst into view. It gripped a massive hammer in its hands and smashed it hard against the minecart. A violent jolt shook the vehicle. The minecart's protective mechanism activated, blocking the blow. Rumble. The minecart rumbled loudly, and its wheels began to turn. Hanmu operated the minecart non-stop. His peripheral vision caught the figure outside, and an information panel materialized. Goblin Lord LV.10, Strength, 80. Constitution, 35. Agility, 25. Perception, 7. Evaluation, high danger level. Evacuation is advised. Can't win. Fall back first. What about my minecart? At that moment, Su Yue suddenly snapped back to her senses, staring at her own minecart still tangled in vines high above the ground. Ignoring her question, Hanmu accelerated further. "I only promised to get you down. I never said anything about saving your minecart." Su Yue froze, her eyes widening. "Wait a minute. How can you be like this?" Arrows and boulders kept flying from behind, slamming against the minecart's protective shield. The whole vehicle shuddered with every impact. Su Yue's face paled slightly as she gripped the handrail beside her tightly. Hanmu shot her a glance and said grimly, "Do you really think we have time to cut through those vines right now?" Su Yue gritted her teeth. She knew full well that without Hanmu, she would still be trapped back there. Moreover, without the protective mechanism, both of them would have already perished. The minecart sped up and darted into the tunnel passage. "Stop! The path ahead will only loop us back." As Hanmu navigated through the tunnel, Su Yue's voice rang out beside him. Hanmu frowned. "Are you certain?" "I'm sure." Su Yue stared forward, her tone unusually serious. "Stop the cart. Wait for my signal before moving again." Hanmu glanced at her, then glanced back toward their pursuers. After a brief moment of hesitation, he brought the minecart to a halt. "My talent lets me obtain regional map intelligence." Su Yue closed her eyes, as if sensing her surroundings. "If you want to shake off those green-skinned monsters, you need to listen to me." Obtain regional map intelligence? Surprise flickered across Hanmu's eyes. In this mine world where information was scarce, accurate map intelligence was just as valuable as powerful combat ability. "Go." After a short silence, Su Yue spoke abruptly. Hanmu hit the accelerator, and the minecart raced forward. More than 10 minutes passed. Guided continuously by Su Yue, the tremors and roars from behind gradually faded away. "We actually lost them." "Umph. Of course we did. Count yourself lucky to have me around." Su Yue tilted her chin upward. For the next stretch of time, Su Yue kept issuing directions. 2 hours later, a familiar stone gate finally came into sight before Hanmu and Su Yue. "We're finally out." Hanmu let out a long sigh of relief. This trip into the mine vein had yielded far more than he had expected. Not only had he gained large quantities of materials and resources, he also had a clearer understanding of just how dangerous this world could be. He turned towards Su Yue. "What are your plans?" Su Yue glanced in the direction of her lost minecart and sighed helplessly. "What else can I do? I'll stick with you for now." "Hanmu, when did I agree to that?" Su Yue rolled her eyes, then put on a helpless, vulnerable expression. "I lost my minecart. Are you really going to leave me all alone in such a dangerous place?" A vulnerable woman? Who ever heard of a truly vulnerable woman venturing deep into such a deadly mine all by herself? Watching Su Yue act so self-assured despite her predicament, Hanmu was lost for words. "I've put myself entirely in your hands," Su Yue blinked. "Aren't you going to take responsibility for me? You've got to be kidding me." Black lines spread across Hanmu's forehead. This woman, she was even more troublesome than that goblin lord. Hanmu and Su Yue emerged from the mine as evening fell. Sitting at the control console, Hanmu pulled the unknown egg he had obtained from Su Yue earlier out of his backpack. The cool shell pressed against his palm, bringing with it a strange sensation. Hanmu focused his mind, and the status panel appeared. Unknown egg. Type, egg. Effect. Hatch a young exotic beast, can be raised as a contracted beast. Hidden information. Will hatch into young star rock ancient ape rock spirit ape. Hatching requirements. Energy crystal times 1000, star origin or times 50, ape flesh and blood times 30. A young exotic beast. Excitement shone in Hanmu's eyes. He had no idea why an ape-like creature would hatch from an egg, but if interdimensional teleportation could happen, anything was possible. "I still don't know exactly what abilities this thing has, but it sounds incredibly imposing." On top of that, this egg had been deep inside the special mine. guarded by countless goblins and traps. Something protected so thoroughly could never be ordinary. Most importantly, if he successfully hatched it, he would get himself a powerful ally. Why are you grinning like that? Seeing Han Mu looking elated, Su Yue rolled her eyes. Mind your own business. Han Mu stowed the egg away and retorted irritably. Do you have anything to eat? None. Since I've placed so much trust in you. Before Su Yue could finish speaking, a compressed biscuit and a bottle of mineral water came flying toward her. Thanks. Su Yue caught the food and water, a faint smile tugging at her lips. Seeing her shrewd expression, Han Mu's eye twitched. This woman. Choosing to ignore her, Han Mu took several cans out of his backpack and began eating. After escaping the mine, Han Mu had traded some energy crystals for plenty of food and water supplies. Otherwise, he could never sustain two people. Since you gave me supplies and got me out of the mine, Han Mu glanced at the time displayed on the console and rubbed his tired eyes. I didn't realize we spent so long inside the mine. Outside the window, daylight had faded. They were still roughly 100 kilometers away from the evacuation point. As they traveled, Han Mu's mind wandered over his skill. Permanent progress. Sturdy physique blue. Permanent progress. Suffer 500 impacts while equipped 13 to 500. Precise throwing green. Permanent progress. Hit targets 300 times with throwing. Type skills 101 to 300. Both permanent. Unlock conditions relied on accumulating counts. So far, precise throwing was advancing faster. Judging by the current situation, monsters would only grow more dangerous. He needed to unlock more permanent equipment bonuses as quickly as possible. Han Mu sighed at the thought. Once precise throwing became permanent, he would deal with other things. Just then, Su You's voice cut through the air. 10 kilometers to the northeast. There is a village there, and a newly dropped blue quality resource treasure chest inside. A resource treasure chest? Han Mu's eyes lit up. He grew even more curious about Su You's talent. She could pinpoint resources, distances, and even detailed site information in real time. This talent truly was extraordinary. No wonder she had dared venture alone into the special mine. Let's go check it out. I'll take 70%, you take 30%. Su Yue suggested. 70% for me. Han Mu said flatly. Why? I'm the one providing the intelligence. Su Yue protested immediately. I'm providing the minecart. Su Yue. Fine, 40-60 in my favor. I'm providing the minecart. 50-50. Deal. Su Yue gritted her teeth. This jerk truly hated taking even the smallest loss. More than 10 minutes later, not far from the village, Han Mu and Su Yue stood atop a mound, looking down over the settlement. On the narrow streets, more than a dozen humanoid abominations wandered about, their movements stiff, their bodies emaciated. Faint blue light glimmered at the village's center. Han Mu's gaze sharpened. That glowing spot in the middle must be the resource treasure chest. Yeah. Su Yue nodded. We don't know what level these abominations are, though. 2 level, 5, 1 level, 4, and the rest are low, level 2 mobs. Han Mu stated slowly. Su Yue looked at him in surprise, but did not press for details. The village has narrow roads and complex terrain. We can't drive the cart all the way in. Su Yue said gravely. So many abominations. Should we retreat? Han Mu did not answer. Instead, he quietly observed the village layout. I need to know your level and fighting style. Su Yue blinked, then understood Han Mu's intention. You already know my talent. I'm level 3. I fight up close with a sword and shield. Han Mu nodded. Park the cart at the village entrance. Once we go in, you hold back the weaker abominations. I'll handle the 3 stronger ones. Su Yue raised an eyebrow. Are you sure you can pull this off? Han Mu gave no reply. He pulled a heavy crossbow from his backpack and conjured an energy arrow. Watching his movements, Su Yue sighed helplessly. In the next instant, a heavy alloy sword and round shield materialized in her hands. Han Mu's gaze swept over them, and information for Su You's weapon surfaced. Alloy sword and shield green. Attack power, 15. Durability, 108/350. Effect, +2 constitution, reduces incoming impact damage by 30%. A solid defensive setup. Against those low-rank abominations, she ought to be reasonably safe. Don't push yourself too hard if you get overwhelmed. Han Mu pulled his gaze away and warned her. Su Yue lifted her eyebrows. Worry about yourself. Don't go getting killed. Could you say something more encouraging? With that exchange finished, Han Mu turned his attention back to the village. The dozen odd abominations still roamed the streets. 3 of them stood noticeably larger than the rest. One had arms as thick as tree trunks. Another's body was covered in black scales. Further back, one held a standard issue rifle, clearly a ranged enemy. Han Mu's eyes narrowed. Take out that ranged unit first. The words barely left his mouth before Han Mu sprinted forward, crossbow locking onto his target. Whoosh! An energy arrow streaked toward the rear abomination. Boom! The rifle, wielding abomination, was struck and sent flying backward. The loud commotion drew the attention of every abomination in the village. All of them locked onto Han Mu. Roar! Roar! Snarls echoed as the abominations charged toward him. Hold them off, Han Mu shouted sharply. Su Yue reacted instantly and charged forward with her shield raised. Bang! Her shield slammed hard into the foremost abomination, sending it flying. At the same time, green light flickered along her alloy sword as she swung it down. The green flash cut through one rushing LV.2 abomination, splitting it cleanly in two. Bring it on. Might, Strength Zombie LV.5, Strength, 65. Constitution, 15. Agility, 8. Perception, 5. Evaluation, Immense Brute Strength, Low Agility, Moderate Danger Level. Han Mu's pupils tightened. This creature's strength stat was even higher than his own, even with his giant hammer equipped. His gaze shifted to the other two foes. The scaled fish zombie boasted a constitution stat of 30. Its defensive capability nearly rivaled the LV.10 Goblin Lord. The rifle-wielding zombie possessed 58 strength, almost matching Han Mu's own stats. Han Mu exhaled slowly. He could fight them. The rifle-wielding zombie climbed back to its feet, shaking its head. Its eerie green eyes fixed firmly on Han Mu. It raised its rifle and opened fire. Bullets raced toward Han Mu. Han Mu dodged sideways while loosing another crossbow bolt. Swoosh! The energy arrow buried itself in the Might, Strength Zombie's shoulder. Enraged by the injury, the Might, Strength Zombie roared and charged straight at Han Mu. The rifle-wielding zombie recovered and kept spraying gunfire. The hail of bullets forced Han Mu into a tight spot. He quickly regained his composure and used his agility to create distance. At that moment, the fish zombie pounced at him from the side. Han Mu leaped. The two pursuing zombies crashed heavily into one another. Seizing the opening, Han Mu swapped to his giant hammer and swung it hard. Both enemies were sent flying. Without looking back, he charged straight for the rifle-wielding zombie. Seeing Han Mu closing in, fear flickered in the zombie's green eyes. It stopped firing and tried to run. Think you can get away? Han Mu gave it no chance. He flung his giant hammer, and it smashed into the zombie's torso. Roar! The rifle-wielding zombie let out a shrill cry, filled with pain and rage. Defeated rifle-wielding zombie LV.4. Experience plus 40. Obtained, Standard, Issue Rifle Green. Obtained, Rifle Bullets Green times 100. Hearing the noise, the remaining two zombies spun around and bore down on Han Mu. Instead of retreating, Han Mu advanced. Amid the clashing movements, he closed in on the fish zombie first. He used his hammer to deliver an upward blow. The fish zombie was lifted off the ground. Han Mu prepared to follow up with a crushing strike, but the Might, Strength Zombie's fist was already coming for him. He was forced to adjust his momentum and met the incoming punch with a horizontal hammer block. Bang! Both combatants stumbled backward several steps. Damn, that's brutal strength. Han Mu gasped for breath, frowning. He had thought that with his enhanced body and weapons, taking these foes down would be manageable. But these zombies were far smarter than he had anticipated. They even showed hints of coordinated teamwork. He rubbed his stinging palms and pushed off the ground, charging back into combat. The fish zombie struck first, slashing its claws toward Han Mu's face. At the same time, the Might, Strength Zombie closed in, throwing punches to seal off Han Mu's escape routes. They're learning to fight. Han Mu's eyes sharpened. In the blink of an eye, he dove sideways. The fish zombie's claws swept past his chest, whipping up gusts of wind. The next instant, the Might, Strength Zombie's fist slammed squarely into Han Mu's chest. Uffed! Han Mu flew backward, slamming into a stone wall. A metallic, tasted bitterness rose in his throat. Damn it, these things are tough. Han Mu wiped blood from the corner of his mouth. This was the first time Han Mu had been wounded since arriving in this world. Without his sturdy physique buff and armor, his injuries would have been far worse. Before he could catch his breath, something unexpected happened. Instead of continuing its pursuit of Han Mu, the fish zombie whirled around and charged towards Su Yue on the other side. Han Mu's expression turned grim. That monster. Su Yue had already disposed of several zombies, yet quite a few low-rank ones still swarmed around her. If the fish zombie broke through her defenses and surrounded her, the situation would turn disastrous. Su Yue, look out! Su Yue caught sight of the threat out of the corner of her eye. She bashed an incoming zombie away with her shield and spun to block. Bang! Claws crashed against her shield. The tremendous force drove her several meters backward. Her arms trembled under the strain. What kind of monster is this? Suyue's face paled. The fish zombie lunged forward once more. Suyue braced her shield, staring at the charging monster, her breathing growing ragged. She was only level 3. Even after defeating several zombies, she had already reached her limit. Earlier, she had tried to counterattack with her sword, yet she could not even scratch its scales. Murderous glint burned in the fish zombie's green pupils. It raised its claws high and brought them crashing down towards Suyue. Suyue gripped her shield tightly and squeezed her eyes shut. Boom! A heavy detonation echoed beside her ears. The expected crushing blow never landed. She opened her eyes to find the fish zombie no longer in front of her. A figure with torn clothing caught the returning giant hammer and walked slowly toward her. The fish zombie rolled across the ground, clambered back to its feet, and stared warily at Hanmu's hammer, seemingly intimidated. Are you all right? Suyue tightened her grip on her shield and looked at Hanmu. I'm still standing. Hanmu replied plainly. These creatures are improving in combat awareness. Suyue fell still. If the monsters could keep learning and adapting, the longer this dragged on, the more dangerous it would become for them. After a short pause, she pulled an item from her backpack and tossed it toward Hanmu. Catch! Hanmu reached out and grabbed it. He stared at the object in his palm and froze completely. Resting in his hand was a black grenade. He lifted his gaze towards Suyue. What did you hand me? A grenade, Suyue replied nonchalantly. You know full well it's a grenade. Hanmu took a deep breath. Are you out of your mind? You can't just toss a grenade like that. Suyue waved her hand. It's a purple tier weapon. It should be more than enough to blow them to bits. Hanmu locked eyes with Suyue, his expression turning grim. His gaze fixed sharply on the two zombies. Wait for them to come to us. Suyue instantly caught Hanmu's plan. She drove her heavy shield deep into the ground and gripped it firmly with both hands. A brief hush fell over the battlefield. The next second, Hanmu drew his heavy-duty crossbow and loosed an arrow at the zombies. The two creatures flew into a rage, letting out hoarse snarls. Hearing the commotion, surrounding zombies charged toward Hanmu and Suyue. The fish-human zombie reached them first, its claws hammering relentlessly against the shield. Suyue gritted her teeth, a thin streak of blood trickling down the corner of her mouth. Hanmu fended off swarms of lesser zombies on his end. Seconds later, the brute strength zombie arrived. It roared, coiling its body to deliver a crushing punch straight at the shield. Fall back! Hanmu barked the order. Both of them scrambled backward. The brute's fist slammed empty, handed into the ground, sending clouds of dirt billowing upward. When the dust settled, the fish-human zombie and the brute zombie scanned their surroundings, hunting for Hanmu and Suyue. They spotted a dark object lying beneath their feet. An instinctive sense of danger pricked at them, but it was already too late. Boom! Flames and fire swallowed the two zombies whole. Smoke and gunpowder slowly cleared. The zombies were gone without a trace. Hanmu drew a deep breath. He and Suyue walked slowly toward the blue treasure chest in the center of the village. The chest glowed with faint blue light, striking against the dark night. It was the first treasure chest Hanmu had ever laid eyes on, and its quality was fairly high. A faint cyan glow flickered in Hanmu's eyes as he scanned the chest. Only after confirming it was safe did the two of them open it. So your talent is also related to detection, Suyue remarked, watching his movements. Hanmu smiled, without going into detail. In a sense, his talent really was information-based, except it came with quite a few extra bonus tags. They peered inside the chest. Several items rested quietly within. Mechanical parts times 100, beast meat times 20, Coca-Cola times 20. Hanmu's eyes lit up at the sight of the cola. Coca-Cola. Type. Consumable effect. Restores 20 mental points upon consumption. Reduces pain received from damage by 20%. He never expected to find something like this in the mine world. Hanmu grabbed 2 cans, passing one over to Suyue, then popped the pull tab on his own. He brought the can close to his nose. The familiar sweet fizz aroma stood out sharply amid the pervasive iron, rust stench of the mine. That hits the spot. Hanmu drained the can in one go and let out a loud burp. Burp, refreshing. Hanmu looked thoroughly pleased. He never imagined he would get to taste soda again in this lifetime. Shame there's no ice. Mental points plus 20. Pain, dampened status activated. Remaining duration, 30 minutes. As the cola settled in his stomach, the fogginess from battle lifted from Hanmu's mind, and the aches across his body grew noticeably muted. Beside him, Su Yue felt the shift as well. She stared down at her soda can, her expression complicated. Ever since arriving in this world, food, energy supplies, and gear had all become precious commodities for survival. Beverages originating from Blue Earth had turned into rare luxuries. People in regional chat had been reminiscing about sweet drinks from home. If these cans were traded publicly, they would spark fierce bidding. They were extremely scarce goods. They exchanged a glance and said nothing more, proceeding to divide up the loot. After splitting the supplies, a yellowed map remained at the bottom of the chest. Su Yue picked it up and studied it closely. What's this? After reading its full description, she learned it was a fragmented treasure map. Treasure map fragment, 1/4 green. Need to collect 4 pieces total? My talent works way faster. Her interest faded instantly holding the fragment. I hate collecting pieces. You can have it. She handed the parchment over to Han Mu with obvious disinterest. Han Mu accepted it. With a thought, the item stats surfaced in his mind. Treasure map fragment, 1/4 green. Type, special blueprint effect. Gather all 4 fragments to craft mine layer. 3 treasure map purple. A treasure map for the 3rd mine layer? A purple tier treasure map was clearly quite valuable. Still, they were nowhere near upgrading their minecart to reach layer 3. We can keep an eye out for fragments along the way. No need to force it if we don't find any, Han Mu thought to himself. He stowed the fragment in his backpack, then pulled out the standard issue rifle and ammunition looted from the fight and offered them to Su Yue. This is for you. Fair share. If Su Yue hadn't lent her strength in the fight, they would never have taken down that horde so easily. Su Yue smiled and took the rifle. Who would have guessed the old miser would actually give away hard-earned loot? She turned the weapon over in her hands, brushing her palm across its cold metal frame. Knowledge of its operation flooded into her mind automatically. With a thought, bullets streamed into the rifle's magazine. She raised the muzzle and pulled the trigger. Bang! A wooden plank in the distance shattered. A flicker of wonder crossed her eyes. You could never get your hands on something like this back on Blue Earth, she commented before storing the rifle in her backpack. Let's head for the evacuation point, Su Yue suggested. Han Mu shook his head and gestured toward the wooden houses scattered across the village. We haven't searched these buildings yet. Besides, mid-sentence, Han Mu swung his massive sledgehammer and smashed it against the nearest wooden cabin. Dismantling successful. Obtained, lumber plus 44. Obtained, mechanical parts plus 12. Abandoned buildings like these were hidden resource stockpiles. Han Mu turned towards Su Yue. Split up and search. Su Yue nodded. One by one, they scavenged through the houses. Along the way, Han Mu encountered several low-level zombies trapped inside rooms, each one felled with a single strike. Yet the experience gain was pitifully small. Killed LV.1 zombie. Experience plus 0.1. Level penalty kicking in already? As his level rose, killing far weaker monsters yielded diminishing experience points. Han Mu kept moving. Soon he had gathered plenty of supplies across the village. Bottled water, mineral, ore, lumber, mechanical components, and more. Once Su Yue finished her sweep, Han Mu dismantled every remaining building in the settlement. He stopped only once the whole village had been leveled flat. All right, now we can go for the evacuation point. They returned to their minecart and took a short rest. Han Mu and Su Yue tallied up all their collected resources and divided them according to their prior agreement. During the exchange, Han Mu set aside extra food and water and spoke plainly. We picked up plenty of supplies. From now on, you'll source your own food. Su Yue looked at Han Mu, surprised by his generosity. She fell silent for a moment before speaking earnestly. About the grenade. I really should have told you beforehand. Before I knew whether you could be trusted, I had to hold on to my own life-saving trump card. You understand that, right? A hint of awkwardness showed on her face. Han Mu smiled. It's fine. He had expected Su Yue to keep a few secrets from the very start. Their partnership was built on shared interests. He had already gotten everything he had hoped for. As for Su Yue, Han Mu mused silently. She was almost certainly hiding more than just the grenade. She was probably far better resourced than he suspected. I would have kept something back too, Han Mu said seriously. So I don't hold it against you. But if someone tries to do me harm, I will show zero mercy. Han Mu's tone turned icy cold. The atmosphere inside the minecart grew heavy. For the first time, Su Yue felt the faint oppressive aura rolling off Han Mu. She had no doubt. If someone targeted him, he would show no mercy, even to former allies. Relax. I have my boundaries, Su Yue said, shaking her food rations with a lighter tone. Besides, cooperating clearly brings us more gain than double-crossing each other. Han Mu did not argue. His expression softened. I hope so. Daily intel. 50 kilometers remaining to evacuation point A5. Many survivors have already gathered near the site. Intel analysis. Proficiency plus 39/100. Huh, that counts as intel. Hanmu could not help complaining. I could read that off the map myself. Still, he recalled his talent description. It supplied potentially useful information, not guaranteed opportunities every single time. Earlier alerts had warned him of a dying beast and guided him to an energy or vein. An unhelpful reading was to be expected. The minecart rumbled onward. As they drew closer to A5, more and more minecarts appeared along the route. Numerous survivors noticed Hanmu and Su Yue as they passed, watching them with mixed curiosity, scrutiny, and undisguised greed. Hanmu sat inside the cart, observing everything, his vigilance rising. Large crowds meant more information, more resources, and the comfort of being around other humans, after days of facing nothing but monsters. But crowds also brought uncertainty. Human malice could strike without warning. Everyone who had survived long enough to reach the evacuation point was no ordinary person. Dozens of minutes later, a massive platform came into view. Spanning thousands of square meters, it was ringed by thick, crisscrossing metal support frames. Countless minecarts were parked around its perimeter. Most were Tier 1 units. Only a handful had upgraded to Tier 2 with modification modules. Survivors milled about beside the vehicles. Some had even set up makeshift stalls for trading. 10 food units for 1 energy unit. Healing potions for sale. Anyone interested? Buying 20 mechanical parts. For the first time in this underground world, Hanmu felt the buzz of human activity. Hanmu and Su Yue climbed down from the minecart and sized up their surroundings. Hey, you two just arrived? Hanmu glanced at the young man walking toward them and withheld an immediate reply. What do you want? Su Yue asked coldly, her guard up. No trouble. I'm just logging arrivals. The young man was unoffended. He gestured toward a cluster of survivors in the distance. My name is Lin Jun. That's the Nightcat Alliance, formed by the first arrivals at A5. Our leader is a level 5 gold tier talent awakener. I'm compiling information to keep track of arrivals and local conditions. A level 5 survivor? Hanmu had not expected someone else to hit his own level. He had only reached level 5 through constant monster hunting plus rare beast meat. Clearly the Nightcat Alliance's leader had enjoyed considerable luck. Hanmu preferred to keep his distance, but picking a fight with a large group led by a level 5 powerhouse would be unwise. After a short pause, he spoke. What information do you need? Lin Jun answered. Simple stuff. Name, level, talent type, minecart tier, direction you traveled from to reach A5. Also, any unusual monsters or resource nodes you encountered on the road. Hanmu skipped the last question. He gave a vague summary of their route, revealing nothing about the energy or vein or treasure map fragments. Both he and Su Yue falsified their levels. Hanyo LV.3, Su Wei LV.2. Lin Jun jotted down the notes carefully. Moments later he nodded. Thanks for cooperating. One word of warning. Don't wander around alone once you're here. Hanmu frowned. What do you mean? Lin Jun spoke openly. This is no longer every man for himself survival. More people keep showing up, and teams are forming everywhere. Without a group, exploring for resources can get you ambushed by other factions, even groups from other zones. Hanmu's eyes sharpened. He exchanged a quick look with Su Yue. Other zone factions? Su Yue asked. Right. Lin Jun nodded. It's not just us at A5 with the Nightcat Alliance. Survivors from other zones have built their own forces too. Closest to us is the Bright Alliance from A4. Their leader is also a level 5 gold tier talent awakener. Up to now, Li Ming had been the only gold tier awakener Hanmu had met in person. Now he was hearing of 2 more. Hanmu thanked Lin Jun, then toured the evacuation zone alongside Su Yue. Want to join a team? Su Yue asked Hanmu. He shook his head. Not yet. Let's watch and learn first. We don't understand this place well. Jumping into a random group carries too much risk. Su Yue nodded, understanding his concern. Even this seemingly safe zone ran purely on self-interest. Everyone harbored hidden agendas. They browsed the trading stalls, swapped for needed supplies, then returned to their minecart. Fine steel times 137, mechanical parts times 398, lumber times 624. I'm still short materials for minecart upgrading. If they had not looted the zombie village, progress would be far slower. Hanmu opened the trade interface and posted purchase requests. Half an hour passed, and he had only acquired a trickle of fine steel and mechanical components. Metal resources were scarce in these early stages. As he pondered how to gather more materials, a system announcement popped up. Attention, all survivors. New player protection period ends in 12 hours. Once the voice alert finishes, administrative difficulty will keep rising. Ding. Every 6 hours, a mandatory disembarkation event will trigger. When forced off your vehicle, you cannot return to your minecart or safe zones for 1 hour. Regional chat channel. Regional Anonymous 1242. Are you kidding me? They crank up difficulty before the newbie period even ends. Regional Anonymous 8866. We're doomed. I'm only level 2. I was counting on stockpiled rations to hold out. Regional Anonymous 18424. Stay calm, folks. It's just a brand new game phase. Regional Anonymous 5537. Praying for us all. Regional Anonymous 1242. Fine then. Let's fight. Mandatory disembarkation? Hanmu stared at the notification. 12 hours remaining, with forced disembarkation every 6 hours. That meant 2 separate forced deployments. This mechanic would no doubt thin survivor numbers further. Hanmu focused, bringing up his status panel. Name: Hanmu Human. Level: LV.5460/1600. Strength: 60. Constitution: 24. Agility: 15. Perception: 10. I should be fine at my current level, Hanmu murmured, glancing down at his palms. His once lean frame had grown defined muscle from rising stats. His senses were far sharper than before. Physically, he reckoned he could take on 100 ordinary adults from Blue Earth. You've got this. Suyuei's voice sounded beside him. She clapped him on the shoulder with a grin. You handled those terrible monsters after all. Hanmu nodded, though he stayed cautious. What if I simply refuse to get off when the event triggers? He wondered inwardly. At that moment, shrill alarm blared inside the minecart. Mandatory disembarkation triggered. Time remaining: 59 minutes and 59 seconds. It's starting. Before Hanmu or Suyue could react, brilliant golden light surged through their bodies. Hanmu's pupils contracted. When his sight cleared, he stood outside the evacuation point platform. There was no pain. It was an irresistible force of world rules. So there's no resisting it. Hanmu, Suyue called out. He turned to see her rushing toward him, standard-issue rifle already equipped. After confirming both of them were unharmed, Hanmu exhaled in relief. He scanned the surroundings. Several familiar survivor faces were nearby. Those positioned close by had been teleported into the same general area. Hanmu drew his heavy-duty crossbow and observed carefully. Mandatory disembarkation would not just leave them standing idle for 60 minutes. Have you noticed? Suyue said suddenly. The thick fog has mostly lifted. Hanmu blinked, picking up on what felt off. The heavy mist surrounding the platform had dissipated greatly. From great fissures in the distant rock wall, strange plants slowly unfurled, glowing with faint pale light that illuminated the whole region. As the surroundings gradually came into view, murmurs of unrest rippled through the crowd. Some people who reacted rushed straight toward the platform where the mine carts were parked, only to be blocked by an invisible barrier. Mandatory disembarkation countdown remaining: 57 minutes and 36 seconds. Return to mine cart unavailable. You've got to be kidding me. How am I supposed to survive without a mine cart? I'm only level 2. No party will take me. This is practically sending us to our deaths. The cold system prompt made many people's faces turn pale. Compared to the previous 2 days, they had reached the evacuation point through combat and scavenging. Back then, they still had the mine carts as their safety net. Now, all safeguards had been forcefully stripped away. Exposed to the dangers of the mine world for the first time, panic and anxiety spread unchecked among the survivors. Everyone quiet down. A deep, booming voice cut through the commotion. It belonged to a burly man clad in heavy leather armor, gripping a cold glinting spear. Hanmu's eyes narrowed slightly. Beast-hide leather armor blue. Effect: Constitution plus 20, Agility 5. Durability: 263/300. Blue-grade equipment. Whoever owned such gear and stepped forward to restore order at this evacuation point was most likely the leader of the Nightcat Alliance Lin Jun had spoken of. The man scanned the crowd and spoke again. The mandatory disembarkation only lasts 60 minutes. Hold out, and we can return to our mine carts. Panic will only get you killed faster. The crowd fell silent. They knew he was right. One reckless misstep could cost them their lives. Parties that had already formed huddled together. Lone survivors grouped up in small clusters, securing relatively safe spots. Should we join them? Suyue glanced toward the area where stragglers had gathered. Hanmu tightened his grip on his crossbow and stared out into the dark expanse looming in the distance. Not yet. Let's head over there. He pointed toward a remote corner and led Suyue slowly toward it. Time trickled by. More than 10 minutes passed without incident. The tense atmosphere eased. Many survivors lowered their weapons, leaned against the rock walls to rest, and began talking in low voices. Guess the system isn't completely ruthless. I thought monsters would jump us the second we stepped out. Just 40 more minutes, and we get back to the minecarts. Listening to their chatter, Han Mu remained on edge. From all the novels he had read back on Blue Planet, this mechanic would never be so straightforward. The calmer things seemed, the deadlier what was coming. What's wrong? Noticing his grave expression, Su Yue asked. Han Mu shook his head. Nothing. It's just far too quiet here. Su Yue nodded. You're right. If I designed this system, I wouldn't waste an hour just making a stand around. That defeats the whole point of a survival trial. She was about to add more when she froze. Wait. Han Mu turned toward her, his brows drawing together. Su Yue closed her eyes, just as she had inside the special mind tunnel, as if sensing something unseen. Moments later, she opened them again. My talent picked up anomalies in the terrain data. What is it? She shook her head and pointed. I don't know exactly. Only that the landscape in that direction is constantly shifting. Han Mu followed her gesture. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, only rock faces and sparse vegetation. Even so, a sense of foreboding settled over him. Stay alert. Observe first. Fight only if we have no other choice, he whispered. Right after he spoke, gravel shifted beside a faintly glowing plant in the distance. Click, click, click. Several survivors nearby turned their heads. What was that noise? Su Yue's face paled. They're coming. From out of the darkness, countless scarlet eyes lit up high on the stone cliff. 1, 2, 10. More and more glows appeared. Smiles vanished from every survivor's face. Staring at the endless sea of crimson eyes beyond the platform, everyone wore looks of dread. Under the leader's command, however, they kept their composure instead of descending into chaos. Han Mu and Su Yue stepped back quietly. Countless alien beasts glared down at them from the cliff, radiating bloodlust. We're in deep trouble. Han Mu drew a sharp breath. If our defenses break, hardly anyone will make it out alive. Su Yue nodded gravely. What do we do now? She looked to Han Mu for direction. Wait and see. There are many beasts, but the Nightcat Alliance is here to hold the line. Han Mu thought for a moment and replied. Understood. Guga, ga. Roars erupted from the horde. Countless alien beasts answered, filling the air with harsh, ear-piercing cries. Activate your talents. Prepare for battle. Combat-focused talents to the front. Support talents stay back and provide aid. The Nightcat Alliance leader's thunderous voice echoed across the platform. They outnumber us, but they lack intelligence. Follow my orders, and we will survive until we can return to the minecarts. Wang Can, by the way. As he finished speaking, blazing red light erupted around Wang Can and converged in his eyes. Two thick beams of laser shot outward. Boom! The laser slammed into the cliff, shattering rock. Several beasts were pierced before they could flee and tumbled screaming down the mountainside. Cheers burst from the survivors on the platform. Far from retreating, the rest of the beasts flew into a rage. Dozens of creatures leaped from the cliff and charged toward the crowd. The beast horde is here. Watch yourselves. If you cannot hold your ground, fall back temporarily. Wait for the countdown to end before returning. Han Mu's gaze turned cold. He exchanged a glance with Su Yue. Both slipped into combat readiness. Bang! Bang! Whiz! Wave after wave of alien beasts crashed forward. Skills, arrows, and gunfire poured forth from the platform, felling the vanguard. But the scent of spilled blood only whipped the beasts in the rear into greater ferocity. Beasts broke through the frontline defenses, lunging and biting at the survivors in the front ranks. Arg! Survivors redoubled their defensive efforts. Beasts also charged toward Han Mu. He swung his heavy hammer and crushed one attacker. Killed LV.3 Flame Hound, EXP plus 15. There is real experience to gain from slaying these creatures, Han Mu thought. He gazed at the surging horde, his eyes burning with excitement. The ones up front are low-level and pose little threat. To Su Yue's astonishment, Han Mu strode forward into the horde, wielding his massive hammer. Every powerful swing smashed beasts apart before they could close in, dissolving them into fragments of experience. Killed LV.3 Flame Hound, EXP plus 15. Killed LV.2 Meteor Ape, EXP plus 5. Killed LV.1 Giant Pelican, EXP plus 0.1. Killed LV.3 Water Monkey, EXP plus 15. Obtained, Ape Meat times 2. Obtained, Feathers times 3. Obtained, Ape Meat times 3. Han Mu reveled in the flood of experience. His actions drew plenty of stares from the other survivors on the platform. What is he thinking? How can he be so reckless? I recognize that fighting style. That's the wild whirl. Shush, don't bring copyright into this. The battle on the front lines grew stalemated. Wang Can stood among his fighters, observing and adjusting the defensive formation. As survivors grew accustomed to brutal combat and tasted the rewards of experience, many pressed forward voluntarily. Under their combined resistance, the horde's assault slowed. Survivors in the rear exhaled in relief. Mandatory disembarkation countdown remaining, 9 minutes and 59 seconds. Only 10 minutes left. Is that all the horde can do? Roar, roar. Just as people relaxed, a colossal beast stepped out from behind the distant cliff, thundering toward the platform. Screams rang out. Survivors caught in its path were sent flying, their bodies igniting and burning away. Everyone's expressions turned grim. Run! We cannot fight this thing. Panic spread. Wonkin shouted furiously. Concentrate, all firepower. We can hold it back. If we retreat now, we all die. Most survivors regained their focus and unleashed their strongest abilities against the giant monster. Hanmu kept slaughtering beasts, stealing a glance at the monster. Its stat panel appeared before his eyes. Blackwood Giant Ape LV. 6. Strength. 75. Constitution. 25. Agility. 10. Perception. 5. Assessment. Fire Attribute Beast. Attacks deal burn damage. Considerable threat. A level 6 beast. Let them handle this troublesome foe, Hanmu decided. He refocused his attention, unleashing his full strength and sending beasts flying with every swing of his hammer. Creatures exploded into clouds of blood wherever he went. His experience bar climbed rapidly. Killed LV.3 Sniper Duck. EXP plus 15. Level up. LV.5 LV.6. Obtained 5 free attribute points. I leveled up. He assigned all new points into Strength and Constitution. His stats updated instantly. Strength, 64. Constitution, 25. Power surged through his body, and Hanmu smiled. He raised his hammer, ready to plunge deeper into the horde. Then brilliant golden light washed over every person on the platform. Mandatory disembarkation countdown remaining, midnight. It's over. Su Yue whispered, finding herself back inside the familiar minecart. Hanmu nodded and stood by the door, gazing out toward the platform. The ferocious beasts outside retreated all at once, moving in eerie, perfect unison as if following an order. He turned away and opened his inventory to check his loot. This brutal fight had earned him a level up and piles of dropped materials. Ape meat times 9, feathers times 24, wild ox meat times 8, dragon scale fragment times 3. Killing low-level beasts yielded modest rewards individually, but sheer numbers brought massive gains. Hanmu's gaze landed on his stock of ape meat. He pulled up the details for the unknown egg and read its hidden information. Hidden info. Can hatch Starrock Ancient Ape Offspring Iraq Spirit Ape. Hatching requirements. Energy Crystal times 1000/1980/1000. Star Origin or times 50/50ths. Ape Flesh and Blood times 39/30ths. So ape meat works for hatching. I need to hunt more ape-type beasts next time. After checking his spoils, Hanmu opened his equipment panel. Equipped. Boomerang Skill Scroll Green. Active Affix. Precise Throw Green. Permanent Conversion Progress. Hit targets 300 times with throwing skills 298/300. Seeing the progress bar, Hanmu turned towards Su Yue with a grin. Why are you looking at me like that? Su Yue eyed him warily. I need you to help me with something, Hanmu said, twitching his mouth. Help you? We just survived a brutal battle, and you already have something you want me to do? Su Yue drawled teasingly. Quit overthinking things. Veins bulged on Hanmu's forehead. I just want you to take a couple hits from my hammer. Take hits from your hammer? Su Yue's smile froze. Are you trying to get back at me? It's not payback. I'm not doing that. Their argument was interrupted by loud knocks on the minecart door. Bang, bang, bang. Instantly alert, Hanmu and Su Yue grabbed their weapons. Brother Hanyo, sister Su Wei. It's Lin Jun. Hanmu hesitated, then opened the door. What do you need? Lin Jun wore a friendly smile. Our leader saw how you fought out there. He wants to invite you over for a talk. A talk? Sensing Hanmu's wariness, Lin Jun laughed. No need to be on guard. He simply wants to meet you. Everyone saw how you charged deep into the beast horde. Not many people in this zone have that kind of courage. Hanmu grew even more cautious. They had definitely taken notice of his performance in battle. I don't think a formal meeting is necessary. Lin Jun was caught off guard by the flat refusal. You are quite cautious, Brother Hanyo. He paused and continued. Our leader hopes to discuss you joining our alliance. He also has information regarding this mine layer. At those words, Hanmu's eyes shifted. Intelligence about the mine layers was extremely valuable. The new player phase was over, and conditions in upcoming mine layers would surely grow harsher. Advanced knowledge would prove invaluable. After brief consideration, he asked calmly, Where? 2 kilometers northwest of the platform. That is our alliance's temporary encampment. Fine, I will come. Lin Jun beamed. That's the spirit. In this world, allies mean survival. I'll head back and wait for you. Watching Lin Jun leave, Su Yue spoke. Are you really going? They have already noticed us. Rejecting again will change nothing. Han Mu stowed his weapon. We would cross paths sooner or later. Su Yue frowned. Wonkin does not seem like an easy man. Precisely. I need to learn whether he seeks genuine cooperation or harbors ulterior motives. Han Mu glanced toward the Nightcat Alliance camp, his gaze sharpening. If he wants to work together, all well and good. But if they intend to harm us, I will not hesitate to deal with them. More than 10 minutes later, Han Mu and Su Yue drove their minecart to the Nightcat Alliance encampment. No terrain anomalies within 2 kilometers, Su Yue reported after activating her talent. Han Mu looked ahead. Compared to other survivor gatherings, this encampment was tightly organized. Guards patrolled the perimeter. Several mine carts sat in the center, while members sorted supplies. Halt! A crew-cut young man stepped forward and blocked their path. This is Nightcat Alliance territory. No entry without authorization. Lin Jun sent us to see your leader, Han Mu said evenly. Deputy Lin? The young man smirked. I never received any notice. Han Mu glanced at him, offered no further explanation, and turned back toward the mine cart. In that case, we shall take our leave. Stop right there. The man shouted angrily. Do you think you can come and go as you please? Suspicious individuals must submit to inspection before departing. Han Mu ignored him and kept walking. This was hardly simple arrogance. If Lin Jun had truly invited him, he would have sent word ahead. This felt like a test of his strength. Are you picking a fight? Enraged, the crew-cut man pulled a steel axe from his backpack and swung it at Han Mu. Whoosh! A hammer whistled through the air. The man barely dodged. He watched as the massive hammer grazed past him and flew back into Han Mu's grasp. The surrounding alliance members stared in shock. I have no time for games. Han Mu held his hammer, his expression cold. Next time, it will not merely graze you. You dare insult me? The young man's face flushed with rage. Public humiliation stung his pride. He planted his feet, and his muscles began swelling. Giant form. His body ballooned upward from 1.7 meters to over 2 meters tall. Gripping his steel axe, he towered over Han Mu. Arrogant brat. Prepare to die. He raised the axe high and brought it crashing down toward Han Mu. Clang! A giant hammer came flying and collided violently with the giant axe. Active trait. Precision throw green. Permanent progress plus 1299/300. The crew-cut man felt a sharp numbness run through both his arms, and he nearly lost his grip on the axe handle. Impossible. He staggered backward, his face filled with disbelief. This guy's strength, it has to be because of that hammer. Han Mu gave him no time to think. Muscles tensed in his arm, and the giant hammer flew out once more. Damn it! The crew-cut man's expression shifted. He dared not meet the blow head-on and kept retreating to dodge. He thought he could evade the incoming hammer, but this time the weapon abruptly altered its trajectory eerily and struck him true. Boom! The giant hammer slammed hard into his shoulder, sending him stumbling several steps backward. Active trait. Precision throw green. Permanent progress plus 1300/300. Permanent condition for precision throw green has been satisfied. Permanently activate this trait? Yes. Han Mu's mind stirred, and text on his interface updated. Permanent activation successful. Precision throw green has become a permanent trait. Item. Boomerang skill scroll LV.1 green consumed. Current equipment slots, 1/2. Unlock third slot upon reaching LV.20 or permanently unlocking 5+ traits of white quality or higher. Complete either condition. Han Mu did not pause. With a thought, he loosed energy arrows toward the crew-cut man. What are you all standing around for? Get in there, the crew-cut man roared. Members of the Nightcat Alliance snapped to attention and swarmed toward Han Mu and his companion. Cheap trick. Su Yue's gaze turned cold. She raised her rifle and unleashed a hail of bullets. Rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat. Everyone, hold your positions. Just as fighting threatened to escalate, a transparent glass wall materialized out of thin air. It expanded with a low rumble, blocking attacks from both sides. Han Mu's eyes narrowed. This seemingly ordinary glass wall possessed astonishing defensive power. From within the Nightcat Alliance or cart, a figure stepped slowly out. Brother Han Yo, Miss Su Wei. At the voice, everyone halted. Deputy Lin. Lin Jun ignored the others and walked straight between the two sides. He nodded at Han Mu, then turned to the scowling crew-cut youth with a helpless look crossing his face. Yutsong, what is going on here? Deputy Lin. I merely wanted to confirm his identity, the crew-cut man stammered. Lin Jun's brows drew tight. Does confirming identity require drawing weapons? The crew-cut man looked uncomfortable and muttered under his breath. It was your people. Lin Jun shot him a sharp glare, and he fell silent at once. Brother Han Yo, these are new recruits still learning the ropes. Please overlook their misbehavior. Classic new recruit excuse, Han Mu thought to himself, offering no reply. Brother Han Yo, please come aboard. The alliance leader has been waiting for you. Lin Jun gestured toward the cart. Han Mu scanned his surroundings and spoke coolly. We can talk right here. I did not appreciate your form of greeting. Lin Jun stared in surprise. Standing beside Han Mu, Su Yue said nothing, only tightening her hold on her rifle. They both understood. Yu Tsung's deliberate provocation had been a test orchestrated by the Nightcat Alliance from the start, and Han Mu resented such methods. There is a misunderstanding, Brother Han Yo, a deep, powerful voice boomed. My subordinates acted rashly. No slight was intended. A burly man stepped out of the cart as he spoke. This was Wang Can, leader of the Nightcat Alliance. I am Wang Can, head of the Nightcat Alliance. Brother Han Yo, venturing deep amid the beast horde, speaks of power that ranks among the very best across Sector A5. If I am not mistaken, you have already reached level 5. A faint, knowing smile played on Wang Can's lips. Murmurs rippled through nearby Nightcat Alliance members. Level 5? I heard the Alliance leader only just broke through to level 6. That would make him stronger than most of us. Han Mu's eyes flickered, but he offered neither confirmation nor denial. Seeing his tacit acknowledgement, Wang Can's smile broadened. We have been transported here for 3 days now. By the second day, groups and factions had formed across every zone. The Nightcat Alliance is one of them. Wang Can swept his gaze over his followers. One person's strength has limits. Numbers let you survive longer. His eyes narrowed as he fixed them on Han Mu. Brother Han Yo, would you consider joining the Nightcat Alliance? Han Mu did not answer immediately. For ordinary survivors, joining a sizable faction held clear advantages. Shared resources, manpower, and intelligence. Yet Han Mu carried far too many secrets. His ability to permanently lock equipment traits, plus his rare materials, risked exposure within a large organization. Worse, today's test suggested the alliance operated by unspoken, harsh rules beneath its orderly surface. After a short silence, Han Mu spoke slowly. I appreciate your offer, Alliance leader Wang Can. Surprise flashed across Wang Can's eyes, though his smile remained. So you decline to join? I have no plans to join for the time being. Han Mu nodded. Su Yue and I can handle our current situation. You are very direct, Brother Han Yo. Wang Can chuckled, yet amusement lingered behind his tone. That may not be the wisest choice. In this world, strength matters, yes. But where you choose to stand matters equally. No one can guarantee whether the next foe they face will be a feral beast or another survivor. Besides, you travel with a capable partner. Silence fell over the scene. Are you threatening me? Han Mu's gaze turned icy. He caught the unspoken warning beneath Wang Can's words. This was no longer an invitation. It was a veiled menace. His grip on the giant hammer tightened, and a heavy pressure emanated from him. Nightcat Alliance members tensed, clutching their weapons. As tension neared breaking point, Su Yue stepped forward, meeting Wang Can's gaze calmly. Whatever your name is, we will choose our own side. Do not trouble yourself over it. For now, we are fully capable of surviving without outside help. You would do better to keep your own people in line. She glanced toward Han Mu and gave a rare faint smile. Let's go. Han Mu nodded. Without another word, the two turned and departed. Watching their retreating figures, Wang Can's smile faded. Interesting. Han Yo, I wonder how confident you will remain when next we meet. That Wang fellow is really unpleasant. Su Yue complained aboard the cart. His condescending manner had rubbed her the wrong way. Han Mu leaned against the control console. He holds authority over an entire alliance, so naturally he feels emboldened. Su Yue frowned toward the Nightcat Alliance's position. Given his attitude, this will not simply blow over. Han Mu did not argue. He pulled out a mutated crystal and turned it between his fingers. If Wang Can and his people kept pushing for conflict, preemptive action would become necessary. A translucent interface floated into view at his thought. Detectable equipable item. Mutated crystal purple. Previewed equipment trait. Lizard transformation purple. Trait effect preview. Transform into claw-ripped demon lizard. All attributes doubled. Duration, 30s. Cooldown, 1h. Previewed permanent condition. Obtain 1 strand of Overlord rank lizard true blood 0 to 1. Equip? Han Mu mentally confirmed yes. The crystal vanished from his hand. Equipment successful. Gain trait. Lizard transformation purple. Permanent condition. Obtain 1 strand of Overlord rank Lizard True Blood 0 to 1. Closing his equipment panel, Hanmu glanced at the countdown on the public notice board. Time until next forced disembarkation. 4 hours 29 minutes and 59 seconds. He weighed his options. Now that others had marked him, he need not hold back during future beast hordes. Displaying strength could deter hostile plots against them. Night descended over Sector A5 evacuation point. The area fell quiet, far less lively than by day. Within the regional chat channel, Anonymous User 1242. Everyone ready for the second forced disembarkation? Anonymous User 18424. Praying the beast horde stays away. Anonymous User 1242. I watched the last person who prayed get torn apart by beasts. Anonymous User 8866. I hit level 3. I feel powerful right now. Anonymous User 32468. Is that an earthquake? As Hanmu read the messages, faint tremors rumbled through the long, silent ground. His expression grew grave. Thick, rank blood-scented wine drifted over from the former battlefield. The beast horde was returning. Many survivors sensed the violent aura and grew tense. The second beast horde is reaching the evacuation zone. Get your gear ready. Once teleported out, we will likely enter combat immediately. Su Yue nodded, drawing her sword and shield set, and staring toward the battlefield. Bright golden light burst forth from their bodies. They were teleported outside the evacuation platform. New survivor protection period has ended. Good luck, survivors. Forced disembarkation remaining. One wave 59 minutes and 59 seconds. Staring out over the scarlet landscape, Hanmu's expression deepened. This beast horde struck with even greater ferocity than the first. A wolf's howl echoed across the horde. Countless beasts surged toward the evacuation point at full speed. Quick! They are charging. Damn these monsters. Shouts rang out as defensive lines sprang up. Bullets, arrows, and energy blasts poured into the oncoming tide. Yet the horde's momentum proved overwhelming. Several unprepared groups were swallowed before they could even scream. Everyone fought with everything they had. Panic from the first horde was gone. Survivors understood no one could stand apart. They had to hold the line together. Hanmu and Su Yue charged deep into the horde side by side. Staying together reduced the risk of separate ambushes by Wang Can's faction. Boom! A goblin sprinted toward them and crashed into a rock wall. Green light glowed along Su Yue's blade as she swung, cleaving the goblin cleanly in two. I swear I keep running into these creatures everywhere, Su Yue grumbled. Hanmu swung his hammer, sending 2 demon wolves flying. Some creatures just keep popping up, he replied with a faint smile. Then a massive black beast emerged from the rear of the horde and bore down on the crowd. Fiery crimson flames ignited across its huge frame as its eyes blazed red. It was the level 6 beast they had seen before. Hanmu now got a clear look. Thick black fur, tough as forged steel, covered its body. It bore the hideous head of a gorilla with powerfully muscled limbs and a single fire-wreathed horn rising from its forehead. Roar! Black forest giant ape roared, swinging its fists and charging the crowd like a runaway war machine. It trampled lesser beasts into clouds of blood as it advanced, throwing the whole battlefield into further chaos. Everyone stay clear of that ape. Wang Can's loud voice cut through the din. Focus on the smaller beasts first. He glanced briefly toward Hanmu's position, sneered, and looked away. Hanmu swung his hammer, knocking back surrounding beasts. Su Yue cut down foes beside him. A temporary safe zone formed around them, no monster daring to close within 3 meters. Then Hanmu caught sight of a figure weaving through the horde, using beasts for cover as it drew near. Alarm prickled in Hanmu's mind. Everyone else fought desperately, yet this person avoided combat and headed straight for them. Something was wrong. When roughly 10 meters away, the figure tossed fine powder into the air. A strange sweet scent spread outward. The assailant smirked, formed hand seals, blue light flickering, and dissolved into smoke to escape. What was that about? Text appeared before Hanmu's cyan-tinted vision. Bloodlust pollen blue. Type: consumable. Effect: releases a special fragrance that drastically draws nearby beasts' attention. Used to lure targets. Hanmu's face darkened. His gaze snapped toward Wang Can, who stood seemingly calm, directing the fighting as if nothing had occurred. That despicable bastard. Su Yue noticed his change. What is it? Fall back. We have been set up. Hanmu gave no further explanation and pulled Su Yue into retreat. The strange scent spread across the chaotic battlefield. The black forest giant ape finished devouring one survivor, caught the scent, and swiveled its burning red eyes toward Hanmu and Su Yue. It smashed aside beasts in its path and charged straight for them. Realizing Wang Can's scheme to eliminate them by means of the horde, cold killing intent welled inside Han Mu. Wang Can sought to preserve his standing among survivors by disposing of rivals through underhanded tricks. He had crossed Han Mu's bottom line, but first they needed to deal with the immediate threat. Black Forest Giant Ape LV.6, Strength, 75. Constitution, 25. Agility, 10. Perception, 5. Evaluation, Fire Attribute Beast. Attacks inflict burn damage. Considerable threat. Han Mu studied the stat readout. The ape's strength exceeded his own by 11 points, while their constitution was comparable. Worse, its blows ignited burning wounds. Missteps would place them at a severe disadvantage. A straight-up brawl favored the monster. We cannot fight it head-on. Su Yue, keep up range pressure. Shock flickered across Su Yue's face as the colossal beast bore down, yet she quickly composed herself, and they split apart. The giant ape charged. Han Mu hurled his hammer, halting its advance. Roar! Enraged, the ape locked its burning eyes on Han Mu and threw massive punches. Swish! Swish! Wind howled from its blows. Han Mu relied on superior agility, dodging at the very last instant before impact. Fists slammed into the ground, craters forming and flames bursting upward. While evading, Han Mu struck the ape's bulky body with his hammer. For all its overwhelming power, its huge frame left many vulnerable spots exposed. Meanwhile, Su Yue circled continuously. Whenever the ape focused on Han Mu, she fired her rifle at joints and other weak points. Neither could land killing blows, yet their constant assault carved fresh wounds across its body. Roar! Driven fully berserk, the ape tried to close in on Su Yue, only to be intercepted by Han Mu's attacks. By the time it refocused, Su Yue had already shifted position. Their coordination grew tighter. Before long, more injuries covered the giant ape, and the fire burning across its fur dimmed. Who even are those two? They are actually holding that monster off. Distant onlookers stared in amazement. One man's expression darkened. Damn it, their teamwork is far too good. Wang Can smashed a fist against a rock wall. As Han Mu swung his hammer toward the ape, a private message notification popped up. He dodged a strike and opened his interface. Trade request from Su Yue. Han Mu paused. Seeing the item listed in the trade window, a faint smile touched his lips. He accepted without hesitation. The trade completed instantly. The Black Forest Giant Ape swung its devastating fists toward Han Mu. He twisted aside, drove his hammer hard into its abdomen, and kept shifting to strike vulnerable points. Boom! The hammer crashed against one of its knees. The giant beast crashed to one knee. Agony sent it into utter frenzy. Roar! It threw back its head and bellowed. Right now, Han Mu drew every ounce of strength into his legs, sprinting hard over the terrain. He pushed off hard against a stone wall and launched himself into the air, sailing right over the giant ape's head. The next instant, a pitch-black object materialized in his palm. Han Mu hurled it with all his might. Hit! Before the words faded, the dark object traced an uncanny arc and landed precisely inside the Black Forest Giant Ape's open mouth. The beast froze instantly. A violent detonation burst forth from within its jaws. Boom! Han Mu plummeted rapidly from midair. At a thought, his giant hammer materialized, cutting through the air with a fierce whoosh, and smashed toward the giant ape's dazed, explosion-rocked skull. Brother Hanyo, you've been a huge help, but leave this brute to the Nightcat Alliance. A familiar voice rang out. Wang Can had appeared nearby without anyone noticing. Brilliant red light erupted around his body, and twin laser beams shot straight from his eyes. At the sound of Wang Can's voice, cold fury flared in Han Mu's eyes. He instantly shifted his attack, sending his giant hammer flying straight at Wang Can. Wang Can dodged sideways. The lasers veered and struck the ground beside the giant ape. Damn it! Though the hammer had not injured Wang Can, Han Mu had achieved what he wanted. Su Yue! Han Mu roared. Immediately afterward, a hail of bullets poured down onto the giant ape's head. Under this final assault, the Black Forest Giant Ape crashed heavily to the ground. As it fell, several blue and green items tumbled out from its broken body. Hanyo, hand over the loot. I will let bygones be bygones for what happened before. Wang Can stared coldly at Han Mu and held out his palm. Han Mu shot a mocking glance at the man who had just tried to kill him. With a thought, the items turned into streaks of light and vanished into his inventory. Let bygones be bygones. Who do you think you are? Han Mu sneered. I still haven't settled our score from earlier. The rest of the fighters on the battlefield murmured in shock. Few dared to openly defy the leader of the Nightcat Alliance, and the alliance was far more than just Wang Can alone. Wang Can punched a low-grade alien creature that drew near, blowing it apart. Savage rage burned in his gaze. So you intend to stand against the Nightcat Alliance to the bitter end? Hanmu's expression did not waver. He sent his hammer flying once more, answering with action. Wonkin waved his arm. Two lasers shot from his eyes, colliding with the hammer and halting Hanmu's strike. SHHH. At the same time came the sharp whistle of something cutting through the air. A bullet grazed past Wonkin's cheek. He slowly turned his head towards Su Yue, who stood some distance away with her rifle aimed at him. His eyelids twitched. Fine. Very well, Hanyo. Both of you. Once the beast tide ends, we will settle this. Hanmu said nothing. He tightened his grip on his giant hammer. He knew the beast tide was not over. This was no time for an all-out fight with Wonkin. But the score was not only Wonkin's to keep. Hanmu had marked it too. This threat had to be dealt with soon, or more trouble would follow. Wonkin had to die. On the platform of the evacuation point, the young man clutching his giant hammer panted heavily. Wave after wave of alien creatures charged toward him. After slaying the Black Forest giant ape, the remaining foes were low rank, yet their numbers were overwhelming, and human stamina had its limits. Forced disembarkation countdown, 1 minute and 59 seconds, 2 minutes left. Hanmu's clothes were torn from battle, sweat glistening across his forehead. During his foray deep inside the beast horde, he had hunted many ape-type alien beasts. Combined with the ape meat dropped by the Black Forest giant ape, he now only needed 50 more star source, or to gather all materials for hatching the rock spirit ape egg. Leave the rest to them. Su Yue pulled the trigger, wiping out a cluster of alien creatures with one magazine, and spoke calmly to Hanmu. All right. Hanmu nodded. He swung his hammer and smashed a dragon beast, unleashing brutal force that sent the creature flying. Killed LV.3 dragon beast, EXP plus 10. Obtained. Dragon meat times 2. We've weathered this beast tide. Hanmu exhaled deeply. He glanced toward the many figures of the Nightcat Alliance in the distance, his mind racing. Wonkin sensed Hanmu's gaze and turned his head, cold, killing, intent still in his eyes. Moments later, the countdown hit 0. Everyone was teleported back into their minecarts. The novice phase was officially over. Danger-filled minecart world awaited them next. Inside the minecart, Hanmu fell silent for a moment. Sorry I dragged you into this mess. Su Yue glanced at him. Why bring that up now? Hanmu shook his head and spoke earnestly. If you want to leave, I will find you another minecart somehow. I would have left long ago if I wanted to. I don't need your help for that. Su Yue waved her hand. If you really want to help me, get my original minecart back once this is all over. But for now, we get out of here. Hanmu met Su Yue's eyes and nodded. Beneath the awed stares of those around them, he started the minecart swiftly. Hanmu felt no pride at the reverent looks directed at him. His display of strength had intimidated many. Those who had entertained hostile thoughts had now abandoned them. The minecart sped across the platform and vanished deep within the stone tunnels. More than a dozen hours later, Hanmu and Su Yue lay low atop a small earthen mound, scanning their surroundings. Do you think they didn't follow us? Su Yue whispered. Hanmu shook his head. No, they were just waiting for us to leave the evacuation point. That is their chance to strike. They will come. Hanmu's eyes flickered. Seeing no immediate sign of pursuit, he calmed down. He opened the trade channel with a thought. He had been searching for Star Source for some time. Through constant trades, he had already gathered more than 30 pieces. For the last dozen or so, he raised his offer to 10 rations of food per Star Source and finally got results. Private chat. Lin Yang, 20 Star Source Oregon. Are you sure you want to trade for 200 food rations? Private chat. Hanmu, yes. I'll throw in 2 extra for a quick deal. Without further questions, Lin Yang sent a trade request and placed the Star Source in the trade window. Hanmu put in 202 food rations. The trade completed. Once done, Hanmu pulled the alien beast egg out of his backpack. That's the egg I gave you. Su Yue's eyes widened in curiosity. You recognize what this is? She nodded. Hanmu took out all the hatching materials for the beast egg. Sensing the materials, the egg began to tremble gently. Wait, is this thing alive? Surprise colored Su Yue's voice. Some kind of dinosaur egg? Something like that. Hanmu swallowed and stared at the panel that popped up before him. Hatching materials for unknown egg detected. Initiate hatching? Hanmu had tried putting the strange egg into his equipment slot before, hoping to see what would happen. But without a listed rank, it could not be equipped. Now all conditions were met. He was eager to see what the rock spirit ape inside would look like. He pushed aside his thoughts and confirmed. Confirm hatching. Boom. Brown flames rose slowly from the eggshell, then flared violently. In the blink of an eye, sand and dust from the surrounding ground and sky swirled inward. A small dust vortex formed overhead. Countless gravel and sand particles gathered, forming a thick rocky outer shell around the egg. What is this? Suyue stared in astonishment. A sharp cracking sound echoed. Crack. Fine fissures spread across the rock shell, branching outward like spiderwebs. Bang! With a deafening crash, the stone-shelled egg exploded. The ground shook and shards flew everywhere. Hanmu instinctively stepped in front of Suyue. A tiny figure burst out of the rubble, flipped nimbly mid-air, and landed neatly right in front of Hanmu. Both Hanmu and Suyue froze. The creature looked like an ape, barely a foot tall. Its skin bore dark gray rock-like patterns, and a crystal-shaped rune mark glowed on its forehead. It lifted its head and locked golden eyes onto Hanmu. Information flooded directly into Hanmu's mind. Rock Spirit Ape LV.1 Master, Hanmu. Strength, 15. Constitution, 12. Agility, 15. Perception, 8. Skill, Leap Strike LV.1. Evolution requirements. Reach LV.16. Energy Crystal times 3000. Star Source or times 500. Overlord Grade Alien Beast Essence times 1. Silence fell over the mound. Suyue raised her rifle warily and aimed it at the Rock Spirit Ape. Sensing hostility, the Rock Spirit Ape bared its fangs and growled at Suyue. Hold on. It means no harm. Hanmu quickly stopped her. He did not want Suyue shooting down his newly hatched companion on impulse. It's my contracted pet. The light showed on Hanmu's face as he stepped forward to study the little ape. The Rock Spirit Ape picked up Hanmu's aura. It scratched its head, showing submission, then leaped lightly onto Hanmu's body. This is Sister Wei. Hanmu smiled and pointed towards Suyue. The Rock Spirit Ape glanced at Suyue and bared its teeth again, clearly annoyed by her earlier threat. Little feisty thing. Suyue blinked and let out a laugh. But in the next second, she jerked her gaze toward the wasteland in the distance. Dust rose along the far horizon. Someone's approaching. All joy vanished from Hanmu's face. He gripped his heavy crossbow tightly.